Wicked, wicked. Jungle is massive. Wicked, wicked. Wicked, wicked. Jungle is massive. Wicked. Yo, 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 yo. We got this skill.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Claret and Booze. My name is Nick. I'm joined by Gary, as always. And this week, standing in for John, who's had to shoot off at the last minute because he's got a family problem. His other half's Nan. I hope it's all okay, John. And Tommy's filled in for us. And we may also be joined by Luke Bailey as well, someone that Irish Tommy is very familiar with in a little bit. So, Gary, how are you with your croaky voice anyway? You're still struggling, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm really good, actually. I'm really good. And I don't know if you noticed today on Twitter, I predicted we'd win 3-1 and they would take the lead.
I did notice, yes. You've only said it 3 or 4 times.
I don't want to show off. I don't want to show off or anything.
I know,
but, you know.
I know. You did. I know. You sent me the link twice and I still haven't responded to it.
Yeah, I know. Acknowledge me.
Tommy, thanks for joining, mate. Thanks for joining at late notice. How are you?
Good. Hope nobody in the comments is confused, thinking Virgil's gotten terribly handsome all of a sudden. It is just me, Irish Tommy. But yeah, I'm good, mate. Yeah, really pleasantly surprised with the result today. That was a really good result. I thought a point at best, maybe. I thought he might rotate more heavily, and that would maybe be a bit flat or whatever, but or a little disjointed with the team being mixed up a bit. But no, really good result, and surprised at Leeds' kind of lack of dogfight, really. I mean, if you're going to get yourself out of trouble at the bottom of the table, the kind of trouble they're in, you've got to be dogged and you've got to fight tooth and nail, tooth and claw, and they're not really doing that, Leeds.
He was fighting. Allardyce on the sidelines, he was fucking fuming.
What was he fuming about? What was he?
Well, it was quite funny, right? Because what he did was, Garino pointed it out on the show I did earlier on. And what he was doing was he'd really lost it at this point. And he was screaming. We had a corner. No, they had a corner, and he was screaming. He was raging at one of the defenders to get forward and get in the box. And literally straight from that, we almost scored on a counter attack because their defender had pushed up the field. But he was. Look, to be fair, okay. I've got to be honest. I think we're just a better team than them. We are. I think we saw the hangover at the start, the hangover that you would all expect. They was only 2 days ago. They were on the piss. They was drinking, in the changing rooms. They were celebrating. So there was a clear kind of hangover. Leeds were on top at the start. The goal was coming. You could see it was coming. Then they scored. And then from that point on, it was driven by Rice and Paqueta. Then we just started having fun. It never felt, we had no pressure. The football was absolutely wonderful. There was no pressure on us. The shackles were off. They were just, it was a joy to watch.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it was funny to hear Moyes in his post-match interview say it looked like the shackles were off. It was a strange thing. So he agreed with you there.
Yeah.
So look, I mean, some of it will be Moyes' tactics, some of it will be pressure on the players. But you could see today those players had no pressure on them at all. I think I watched one on the West Ham Fan TV, Andy was on there earlier, and he said it was like, I think it was him anyway, said it was like watching Crystal Palace when we played them a few weeks ago because all the pressure was off them at the time. They were guaranteed to stay up. Yeah. And that's how we played today. And it was, absolutely beautiful at times. Some of the football. We've got so much talent in that team.
Yeah, and wasn't it good to see Forlan's back playing at his best as well?
Yeah, he was really, really good. Really good.
His passing was on point. His key passes, the through balls that he's always been renowned for, was just fantastic. He was so good. What I'm going to do before we go any further, Gary, if you go through the comments a minute, I said earlier on my show, everyone, all right? Because look, I want to leave, not for any other reason other than the fact that it's just what I want to do. On the player rating screen, I want the donkey to remain on David Moyes' head. That's what
I'm against that. I don't
care. That's what I want. So I want it to remain, not for any reason. It's not going to affect his score, but I did say weeks and weeks ago, because for 9/10 of this season, it's been shit. That game today, it does show you, it does illustrate how good we are when the shackles are off and everything else. I would like it to stay, but I will give you the option. So I'm going to put a poll in the chat to say whether or not the donkey stays or is removed from David Moyes' head. So I'm going to put it in your capable hands.
I urge you all to vote to remove
Tommy. What do you reckon, Tom? Donkey on or donkey off? Tommy, side with me. Come on.
He can't have a donkey for the last couple of games of the season.
Why?
You know, put it back in the summer, but leave it. You've got to take it off.
No.
You've got to take it off. How does he deserve a donkey after today and after the other night? And you know, it can't happen.
There's a lot of people saying donkey stays.
I think it'd be
no.
You know that.
I think if he wins a conference, we can take.
If he wins a conference,
he has to. You know, he earned the donkey head, and he has to earn it being removed. I think.
Yeah.
So,
right. Let's see what happens. It's going to be quite interesting. Hang on. I'm doing the poll now. Right. So it's in there. It's in there. Let's see how it goes. Oh, I've done it, haven't I? Why can't I see it? Have you got the poll? Is it in the chat?
Let
me have a look. I've done it. I'll do another one. Hang on, fuck's sake. I think it's just disappeared. No, look, it's doing it. The poll must be in there.
Where is it?
Hang on. Yeah, it is. It is.
There's a lot of comments.
There's a lot of comments. But there's a lot of people that are going to want it to remain because look, I'm a man of principle, Gary, and I don't like to flip flop. And I'm not going to discard the misery that we've been put through off the back of a couple of good results and performances. I'm not going to. Not for me.
You might be a man of principle, but you honestly, you've got to move with the times, Nick. You got to move with the times, and you can't carry on bashing on this door.
I'm not bashing. I'm not bashing.
No, I know you're not, but you are. You are. It's kind of passive aggressive. It's kind of passive aggressive to leave the donkey on, but not say anything bad about Moyes, because in effect you're saying something bad about Moyes, aren't you?
Well, no, because you can still score him a 10. You can score him a 10.
Right.
Yeah,
but then you leave the donkey on, so you're not really giving him a 10, are you?
Right. Yes, the donkey stays.
What is that? Is that the vote?
Yeah.
Where? Show me the results.
It's 56%.
I can't see it.
Hang on. End poll. Where is it?
I can't believe this.
Yeah. I'll put it on there. Look. Hang on. Can you see it? Is it focused?
Yeah. The people have spoken.
Yeah.
So
people have spoken. The donkey stays.
For me and the other 44%, I'm used to being in a minority anyway. So, yeah. Fuck you all.
That's it.
You're too soft. You're too soft.
Yes.
No. Listen, I still want him gone at the end of the season. I just think now is a time we sit down and all love each other and give each other a gentle hug.
Yes, we do. Yeah. Stick to your guns, Nick. Gary's turning into a Moyes fanboy. He is.
Fuck off.
He is. He's got his flip flops on.
I'll tell you what.
I'm going to change his name to Havana.
Go on. We've got Super David Moyes today.
We're going to have to start calling you Gandhi because you got so much flip flop.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I stuck to my principles today. They were singing We've Got Super David Moyes when he came round for the lap of honour at the end. I didn't sing it. I didn't sing it.
But look, I will say that couldn't have been any better today. Even to give him massive credit, right, was for bringing Lanzini on at the end as well. I really, really liked that. You know, that he gave him to what it turned out to be 17 minutes because there was 7 minutes of injury time. And that was nice, you know. I think it all went well. You know, Mabama came on as well. It was all good. What was it? Garino just said there, look, Nick is like Bush Jr. ending the vote once he got to fight. Yeah. I ran that poll for about 30 seconds. I did.
Yeah, I know you waited for it to go the right way, didn't you?
Nick
it was always the right way.
Yeah, Nick put the poll up, voted himself, and then
The people have spoken. So David M saying take it off until the final. No, I will take it off after the final when
it's a bit funny though. It's a bit funny though. You let that poll run. We ain't even doing the play ratings yet. You could have let it run for like an hour, couldn't you?
Right, but anyway, Gary, what were your thoughts of it? What were your thoughts of the game today? Anyway, go on, just quickly. We haven't got to go over it minute by minute.
The game was fantastic. I mean, the whole day was really good, actually. I took an Inter Milan fan from Zurich with me, and he's a season ticket holder at San Siro, and he wanted to come and see West Ham. We've been talking about it the last few months, and he loved it. I took him over to Supporters Club. the young lady on the entrance, I didn't get her name, but she said Claret and Booze as soon as I walked in. It's the first time I've been there for ages. And several other people in there as well. It was really nice. Saw Nigel upstairs, had a load to drink. Started drinking at like 10:30 or something like that. And and by the time I was sort of half cut, by the time, so much so that I bumped into someone I used to work with inside the foyer downstairs, a guy called Paul, and I called him Pete. I was all over the place,
Just stick with mate. Just stick with
mate.
That's
I did afterwards because I realised I screwed up because I was seeing his face. It
Hello,
did
mate.
not compute,
Right,
right? I hate that. I'm rubbish with names. But anyway, look, the game itself, it was, you know, we started slow. We conceded what was a good finish, but a sloppy goal. From that point on, you know, they came out filled with enthusiasm, Leeds. And then after they scored, I don't know what happened, but the enthusiasm seemed to melt away. They seemed to be more concerned with keeping the back door shut than pushing forward, right? They didn't look to me, especially when we equalised, they didn't seem to me to be playing like their lives depended on it. You know what I mean? Apologies for my voice, everyone, by the way. It's a little bit knackered.
No. I think that's bang on. Well, they were initially. They looked good at the start. You know that they were, but I think it was more we were slow. I think we started really slow, and they kind of took advantage of it. Not enough, as it turned out, because all they did was they just woke us up, didn't they? That's kind of what happened now.
Sorry, interesting question from Garino. Nick, if Moyes wins the ECL final, will you replace the donkey head with a crown?
No. You know what we should do? If he wins it, instead of replacing the donkey head with a crown, we put a crown on the donkey head.
A crown. Oh, there you go. There you go. That's a good idea. I like that.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Sorry. Carry on, gone.
But Tommy, go on. Give us your thoughts on the game today. I've already done my bit earlier on, and then what we'll do, we get into the player ratings.
Yeah, I'll tell you honestly, I've only watched the highlights because I was actually working all day, so I was just trying to keep track of it as best I can. Watch the highlights. Like I say, I wasn't that bothered about today because, you know, obviously it's all about the final. But I was expecting maybe a point, but I wouldn't have been surprised if we lost. No. So I was really pleasantly surprised at the scoreline and how well we played. And as well with Leeds, I mean, it just feels to me like they're a kind of team like that just haven't got much bollocks, to be honest with you, because you know, you see the other teams out. I mean, look at the scrapping that Forest have done. I mean, Forest have really kind of put everything into trying to survive. You can see they're just giving absolutely everything.
They were good against Arsenal, weren't they?
And they were really good against Arsenal. And you can see that they're really fighting to stay in this league. And Everton the same, even though Everton's form hasn't been great. But they've had to dig out some results, Everton. And they've been able to grind out a point. You know, the other day, okay, people say, you know, you need a win at this point, but they don't necessarily. And you can see these other teams are kind of fighting for it. And Leeds, it just doesn't feel that way. It feels like, you know, they're still trying to play their kind of football and stuff. And I just don't see the tooth and nail, you know, that you expect from a team in their position. And, you know, that's a really bad result for them today. I mean, we were vulnerable today. You know, we really were. And
they should be fighting for their lives.
Yeah, I mean, had they really asked us some serious questions, you know, we may not have been able to answer them. We may not have been able to go to the well, you know, given that we played on Thursday up in Amsterdam. And but it just doesn't happen with Leeds for some reason. They're still just too soft mentally, and the way they play is just too soft. That's why I think they're going to go. And so, to be honest, the result didn't surprise me that much. Leeds just looked like a team destined for the drop to me.
I think they do. It's the same with Leicester. I'll tell you what I did notice on the what I said earlier on the show. Right, most of these other teams that are down there, if it's Everton that goes, there's players that you could look at in that team. You think, oh, I could take a few of them. Same with Southampton. You know, Ward-Prowse. Yeah, Leicester the same. But you look at Leeds, you think, I don't really know.
No, there's not a lot there, is there?
Not Nonto, you know, the young Italian winger. He's decent, but I don't know. There ain't really many others, to be honest. Not that you would think would get in our team anyway.
I think they've got a really soft underbelly. They've got no spine. When Allardyce went in there, I thought that's just a payday because defensively, attacking wise, they've always looked all right. They've always looked okay, semi-competent. At the back, they've looked diabolical. And I thought it will tighten it up a bit, but you can only tighten it up so much because it ain't as if he's got a transfer budget and a load of new players. He's got to make the good with what he's got. And after a game or two, it's kind of reverted to type because they were piss poor. I mean, you look at the goal.
They fell to pieces, didn't
they? They did, and I know they were chasing the game when we scored that third goal. But my God, Paqueta, it was men against boys. That stuff, wasn't it?
He was outstanding, and he was really having fun as well. Like he really deserved his yellow card as well because he was constantly going in, like doing naughty challenges. He likes to be not very nice, as we saw at AZ. You know, do you know what the best thing about that was? And I hope we're going to go on to talk about this after about the UEFA sanctions they're talking about. The best thing about that, I heard that because he was like a man possessed, Paqueta, after that. You know, when he was wading into those fans. Apparently, he didn't even have family in there, family and friends. He was just doing that for his teammates, you know. So I think he just likes a ruck. He just likes to tear up. You know, he was just getting stuck in. So yeah, but, well, look, he's doing it for his team, isn't he?
I think he's a passionate player. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He's obviously bedded into the team now, and he loves those players around him. You know what he tried to do at the end there, giving Deck, you know, feeding Deck, trying to give him another goal to, you know, in his final game. He could have quite easily scored that. It was pretty much an open goal for him, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, I mean, Paqueta's an absolutely amazing player. I mean, I just love that he's like the full package. I mean, you know, he works his bollocks off. You know, I mean, that guy just runs and runs. He'll track back, he'll close down, he'll put the tackles in, he'll compete in the air. Yeah. You know, he never stops running. You know, he's a workhorse. And then when he's on the ball, he's just amazing skill.
Yeah. Well, there's two comments here. What do you think about this, Tommy? There's two comments. Number one, could become Payet's heir next season. Hopefully, he'll stay.
He's already the best player we've had since Payet. Already,
he has so much talent. He just oozes talent. You know, if he can start the next season where he's left off this season, he's going to be something special.
I think Payet was kind of a luxury player, wasn't he? He was a real luxury player. Unbelievable skill, amazing ability. Was on fire all season.
Star of Prague.
Yeah, but obviously didn't have the physicality that Paqueta has. You know, he was really a player that only came to life when he had the ball. But Paqueta's a different kind of player. I mean, he has the skill, but also he's got that work rate, that work ethic. He gets stuck in. He loves a tackle. He doesn't roll around. If he gets tackled, he's not a prima donna. So I think Paqueta is a more rounded player. He has more to his game all round than Payet did.
Yeah, I think he's only going to get better as well. How you doing, Luke? By the way, you're on screen.
Hello, Luke. Talking about just one more thing about Paqueta, then I'm going to rest my voice for a second. This comment from Garino was, you know, it's bang on the money. This was down the Bobby Moore end after the game when they were doing their lap of honour.
It was wonderful. I saw it.
Yeah, his little kid ran through, and all the crowd were watching it, urging the ball to get over the line, and gave him a big cheer when he did it. And he's like, little kid had his arms up in the air. That's brilliant.
I'm surprised Paqueta didn't slide tackle him. He's a real
take him out.
Competitor, isn't he?
But Luke, anyway, thank you for joining us, mate. Are you all right?
I'm all right now.
Have you got the baby? Have you got the baby off to sleep?
Yeah, I've got to with the missus. So the minute.
Right. Okay.
What's that, Luke?
Yeah. He can't. Look at the size of them fucking headphones he's got. Look, they're massive.
Yeah, noise going nowhere.
Them, mate. I've been mugged off with these headphones. Really think it's through them. Just want to apologise.
Are they big headphones, or have you, unlike John, got a really small head?
Bit of both.
Yeah, but all right, okay.
I'd say. But when I bought them, they weren't to this scale on the website. So I do look like I'm going to be flying a plane to Prague when we go and play.
And I've got to be honest, Luke. I've got to, you know, because we haven't spoken since. But thank you very much for that shitty performance you put in Man United's goal the other week as well. It's amazing, you know. Definitely, you know,
I've got to do what I can do. You know what I mean?
You made it a little bit too obvious, Luke. To be fair.
I mean, it's obvious that I needed to make it. To be fair.
Yeah. But Luke, anyway, before we move on to the player ratings. Give us your take on the game today, anyway. Just quickly.
I will do. Just give me a second because I was meant to be on Friday night with Tommy. He sent me a message on Twitter, but I was really under the weather and I had an early night. So Tommy, I'm sorry I'm on tonight.
He was on the beers. He was on the beers, mate.
I was. I needed 2 beers.
I got binned off.
Yeah. I don't do this very often. I don't get the opportunities. I'm trying to make it when I can. Anyway, sorry. Repeat the question again, Nick. Sorry, I'll do.
Right. Just give me your take on the game today, and then we're going to move on to the player ratings. And then we've got some juicy topics to discuss.
I was surprised, actually, we played like we did, because I thought, given the fact that we just made it to a final, he would rest Rice, maybe rest a few other players, and play maybe a second-string team, just due to the fact that, you know, with double injuries against a team that's fighting relegation, and with Allardyce apparently saying in a week, well, we know they're double injuries, and we're fighting relegation, so hint, we're going to be putting in some dirty old tackles, and we're going to start fighting for our lives. You think the last thing we want is for our players to start getting injured, so I thought we would drop players. I thought Leeds would have had twice as much bite as they didn't have anything. To be fair, they look gone. They looked after the first goal, they sunk. It was quite sort of pathetic, almost, considering.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, isn't it? When you think about Leeds United, traditionally, it's just like the love a tackle, get stuck in, tough team to play against. No one likes playing them, but this Leeds team is the exact opposite.
It's as well as that, they're managed by Allardyce, who A has got a bit of a thing with us, given his history, and B he does like a bit of a team that can give it some physicality and can put balls in the box and jump for headers. But it was none of that. We I'd like to say pissed it. We made them look really small time. I think some players, I ain't being funny, mate. Paqueta on his bad day is a really skillful player, but he was taking the absolute piss out. He was
naughty today.
I thought even to a point. I think it was the Lanzini goal when we had a corner and no one was in the box. I thought there's 4 blokes around him and Lanzini. One of them was going to try and stick a tackle in, but he just moved through him like butter. It was. Do you know what I don't get about him, Luke? It reminds me a little bit of Di Canio, right? With Paqueta, when he likes contact. So he likes the players to get into him. That's what he likes now. Because I don't know how he does it, because he ain't got like blistering pace, but he seems to just lose them. So he can just roll his body, roll the shoulder, he's gone, and he changes direction. He just changes direction. He just loses people. Do you know what I watched today? And there's multiple times where he gets the ball and he could just let off a simple pass, but he hates doing it. He hates playing simple balls. He loves doing the hard work. He loves trying to mug off a defender or and the amount of times where he sprays a ball cross field perfectly to one of the wingers. Me, I've never known a player like him. I'll be honest with you, I've never known him. He's a mixed bag of everything you want to see in a West Ham player. He wants to put a tackle in, and then the next thing he wants to nutmeg someone and put it in the top.
I will say I think he's unmoisable. So I think he's a player that couldn't be moist. Hopefully. He's a player that couldn't be moist. I don't think you could suck the fun out of Lucas Paqueta.
Still Moyes out, by the way. Still Moyes out.
No, but what I mean is I don't think you could suck the fun out of Lucas Paqueta. I think he just loves he loves doing what he does too much. He's brilliant.
Yeah. Well, it's like he said, funny enough, I think it was during the World Cup or something, and when Anthony had signed for Man United and he was doing all the flick tricks and not really getting anywhere with them. And they said, "Well, do you think you need to change your game because you're playing for Man United and you're getting worked out by the English defences?" And he went, "No, I've always been this way. This playing this way has got me to where I am today. I'm not going to change." And I don't know how Man United fans feel about that, but they asked Paqueta the same thing. They said, "Do you think because I think he was struggling a little bit with the pace of it and the physicality, and it's not. I have struggled with it, but I ain't changing. I ain't changing for shit." And I think out of the 2 players this season, I think we've got the better Brazilian, personally.
I think so.
We have, definitely. And when the Qataris come in and buy us, we'll buy his compatriot from Newcastle. That'd do, wouldn't it? That'd do. But no, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. So what we'll do, we'll get straight into the player ratings, because we've got a couple of topics to discuss before we get into the phone calls. Now, what I mentioned earlier on the chat, people, I'm going to say it again. Look, generally, I've turned call waiting off on my phone. I haven't got a switchboard. I've just got a phone. I've got an iPhone, right? I get a bit flustered, and I'll get in the muddle.
No, really?
Yes. So, and it doesn't work. So I still get calls coming through, even when I'm on a call, as you can tell. And what happens is at the end of recent shows, I feel quite guilty because I look at the call list and there's 5 or 6 red numbers there. People that have tried to call in, but I've just overlooked them. So we're not going to open the phone lines tonight. We're going to take a list. So then what that will do is that will give us an idea of how long we can give callers as well. So if you want to call in, we'll probably be ready for taking calls in about 40 minutes or something like that. But we've already got 2 callers. So drop us a text. I'll put the number up now at the bottom. I know it says call in now, but don't call in. So that's the number. If you drop me a text,
fucking hell, couldn't you have just created a new message to go up the bottom?
Hang on 1 minute.
I mean, fucking hell. You're only going to get flustered when people start calling in.
So is it Gary? Is it Gary tonight or Sean Dyche? Just out of interest.
Yeah.
Sorry, my voice is knackered.
So text now. I'll leave that up for a little bit and just drop a text, and then what we'll do, I'll call you back. First come, first serve. Drop a text in or a WhatsApp, and we'll call you back when it comes to that point. All right. Okay. Right. So let's get the.
That's better, Nick. Text now.
Yeah. No, that's what I said. Right. Here we go. So.
Oh, right. We're doing player ratings. Let me just go to the bottom.
Lovely. Gary's just texted me to say I will call. No, Gary, you won't call. I will call you. Gary from Romford. All right.
And what you're going to do, you're going to work out how many people you got to call back, and then we can decide.
You're going to work that out. I'm going to send you how many callers we've got, and you can go. And
we can decide how long the caller's going to be. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So we'll try and give everyone that wants to talk some airtime. We'll try and get everyone on.
John has made a good suggestion. Stay there. I'm going to get a strip on. All right.
Okay, no, it's fine. Right, so we'll start with David. You know we do these player ratings, don't you, boys? We basically just take one each, and I try and influence your decision before each rating. But it's up to you whether you let me.
You'll have to with me because I didn't see the game.
Areola wasn't in goal. It's Fabianski, but it's too late to change it now. So Lucas Fabianski, Luke.
He, for once, in the irony of it, is that he actually, I think in the second half, or first half, he quickly distributed it by rolling it out to Sifal, and it was probably the only time he shouldn't have done it early because we had absolutely no players up front for Sifal to pass the ball to, so he had to come back or just end up losing the ball. So he gets a mark for me for trying to do early distribution, but overall, he didn't really have much to do. I don't think from the Leeds point of view, no real shots to save, but the shots he did. I think he done well with standard performance. I wouldn't say he played bad. I wouldn't say he played particularly great either. But then he just had a standard game. And I think today that's all we needed. We didn't need anyone to do anything flamboyant or amazing. So 6.
That's what average game. Yeah, I think he was. Yeah. I think he was good. He didn't have too much to do, did he? Let's face it.
No.
Right. I'm going to go to. Emerson for Tommy.
Well, I'm obviously just going to have to go off what I've seen and read because unfortunately I was working during the game.
I'll give you a tip of what he did do, which you might not have seen. So it was 1-2-1, and Somerville, their sub, burst through on goal. He did a fucking good job. He marshalled him, got back, made a lovely block. That would have brought it back level. So he did do some really good stuff today, Emerson.
Yeah, I'm hearing he had a good game as well. Some of the stuff he did. I like Emerson, actually. I think he's a good player. I think he was a decent signing. He's good getting forward. He's got a little bit about him on the ball. I think solid game from him today, defensively and going forward. Supplemented the attack as well. Always showing for the ball. So I think a nice solid 7 would be about fair, I think, for today for Emerson.
Yeah, I think so. Right, Gary, Ogbonna.
Well, I thought he did okay. I thought he was pretty good. I wouldn't say he was rock solid because there was twice in that game where the straight ball through the middle of the centre halves completely caught him out, right?
Yeah.
So it goes for Zuma and for Ogbonna. So I can't really mark either of them really high. So I'm going to give Ogbonna a 6.
Ogbonna a 6. Yeah, that's fine. I thought he played well today, but
he played well, but I'm saying he wasn't rock solid.
No. Zuma, very, very sort of quick one for me. Same sort of thing. Obviously, he only played more or less half the game anyway, didn't he?
He had a poor half as well. His first half weren't great.
No, I won't.
Yeah, apparently he looked out on his feet. So
no, he did have a moment, didn't he? Yeah, okay. I'll go 5. All right, I'll go 5 below. I'm not going to dunk him up though. No way.
No.
Right, Luke, Soufal.
Quiet game. I think he didn't have much to sort of do, but I think when he did I think he had a few times in the second half when he was so his first half, sorry, when I think he was helping out Souček at times. I didn't really see much of him, to be fair, but I know he didn't have a terrible game. There was one ball I do remember him playing. I think it was from their corner, and he spooned it over the top of their defence. I think it put Paqueta through on goal for a run on goal. But do you know what? It's one of those games where I don't remember seeing the fullbacks troubled at all. There was
I thought he made a load of fouls today, and he was lucky to only give one away in a bad area.
Well,
I thought he was a bit too heavy-handed. There was one of them where he grabbed one of their players around the throat and threw him on the floor in a dangerous area.
I didn't see that from where I'm. Do you know what? It's mad, right? Because where I'm sitting, I prefer the second half because the players come closer to you in attacks. You can see them more.
Yeah.
When it's over the other side of the pitch, they're like ants, and I have to decipher who's doing what and whatever, and just by the boots normally, whatever boots they're wearing, I have to decipher. But for me, for what I saw, the one clear-cut chance at the opportunity, but you obviously saw more than I have today, so I'll let you go with that one.
Yes. What do you reckon? Would you reckon a 6? Did you say?
Yeah, I'll give him a 6. Yeah, I'll give him a 6.
6. Yeah. Right, okay. Tommy, as you didn't see much of the game, I'll let you mark Souček, because the highlight of his game was playing on with a broken nose. But he didn't play bad, but there wasn't much going on there really. So I'll let you take Souček.
I heard about that. Poor Souček. He can't keep his head out of trouble, can he? Every game.
No.
You know, but by the time his career is over, he's going to look like fucking Quasimodo, isn't he? Or the Elephant Man or something. His face is going to be all lumped up and looking weird.
Hopefully he'll have a bandage on for the final. You know, that'd be good.
Mm.
Yeah, it's kind of like a good omen, isn't it? If he's playing bandaged up in the final, we'd probably win it. But he is a warrior, to be fair. I mean, the guy will put his head in anywhere, won't he? He's teak tough. He really is. So you have to like that about him. But from what I know, had an okay game. Wouldn't have been his toughest game of the season, would it? Let's be honest. It's
No.
Leeds not a great side. Didn't play particularly well today. So I think probably just a kind of standard 6 for him really today.
No, I think so. I think that's about right. He didn't do anything wrong. But like I say, he didn't stand out. But this guy was magnificent. Gary Rice.
Yeah, Rice was right on it. I mean, from the off, he just took the lead in midfield, didn't he? He was doing what Rice does, only playing a little bit further up the pitch today than what he has done in recent games, which I thought was quite enjoyable. I love watching him up there when he can be destructive and drive forward as well. Yeah, and we haven't seen enough of that in recent games. So yeah, I thought he was fantastic today. I'll give him. Oh, it's going to be a tough one. It's either an 8 or a 9.
Might be his last home game. Go all in, Gary. Go all in.
You reckon it? Yeah, it's a good point. Might
Scored
be his
a goal.
Scored a goal. Might be his last home game. Yeah, give him a 10. Let's not fuck around.
He was super. He was excellent.
Yeah, let's not fuck around. Tommy's right. Let's give him a 10.
Yeah, but I don't think that's even.
And he got Hammer of the Year before kickoff as well.
Yeah, he was genuinely superb. Well, it's 3 years running. He's got Hammer of the Year.
Yeah.
I'll leave that 10 there.
Is it 3 years running? Didn't Souček get it the year before last?
No, 3 years running.
Yeah.
Last 3 years, yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's what it said on West Ham social media earlier on. So I'm leaving that 10 there on Lucas Paqueta. He was ridiculous. I know he didn't get a goal. He should really have shot when he went through on goal, when Mabama put him through right at the end. And it was almost like, as Garino was saying earlier on, no, you score. No, you score. No, go on, you score.
He was trying to give it to Rice. He was trying to
Rice up.
Yeah, he was trying to tee Rice up. It was a lovely thing to do, but
yeah.
He really and at 3-1 up, I think you could moan and bitch if it was 1-1 and he wasted a game-winning chance.
We were showboating at this point.
Yeah.
That's what we was doing. It was fine. But he was just outstanding. He was when you consider, right, the majority of Paqueta's passes are incisive through balls, where he's trying to thread the ball through the eye of a needle. He had well over 100 touches today, and he had an 80% pass success rate. This ain't a bloke that passes sideways and backwards. This is a guy that fucking bangs passes literally through the lines all the time. 80% of them came off today.
He was outstanding. Give Paqueta 11 out of 10. 11 out of 10.
Yeah. We can't. I think it was a perfect performance. That second half, you will struggle to find a better second half performance. It had everything, you know.
I mean, I know you're going to do a vote on man of the match, but there's surely only one man of the match in there. We'll
let the people vote. We'll let the people vote.
He was different class.
He was. Luke, Jared Bowen.
Before I go any further, I've just been reading the comments, and there's a Kevin Berry said he saw me today with his wife's cousin or something. I'm just say nice that you saw me. Don't ever be afraid to come and say hello. So just thought I'd make that a bit of a anyway, Bowen.
He'll completely ignore you. He'll completely ignore you when you go up to him. But go and say hello to him.
Unless the babies had him up all night, and he's going to be really fucking ratty.
Damn right. Yeah. Good to put that out, Tommy. I appreciate that. Word of warning. Bowen today was. It's nice to see him get back to his best. I think because Ings was playing up front, he was having to sort of take on the more 1 minute on the wing, 1 minute up front role. Yeah. And I think we did go to up front at one point in the first half because Ings tried running it around, but you could just tell he ain't got the pace anymore. And Bowen has. And I think he took his goal really well. And I definitely thought it was offside. I hold my hands up. I thought, no, it's definitely going to get cancelled out. And I think this might be the first time in Premier League history where West Ham have had 2 goals given by VAR as onside and not chalked off. So it's one of those days.
They were both so marginal as well, weren't they? It was so good.
I've not seen them. It
was literally like that. You know, it was ridiculous.
Well, to them, marginal normally means offside for us, but no. I know. I like to see Bowen scoring goals. I think Bowen has had a mixed bag of a season, probably worse, to be honest with you. I don't think he played particularly well against AZ on Thursday night, and it does him great confidence to go and get a goal and a confidence boost. And I want to see him. I want to see him play like the Bowen we had of last season when he was full of fire. One thing I do find quite funny is towards the end of the game when at the end of the game when all the players are doing laps with their kids and families and the West Ham fans. I think twice just started chanting. Bowen's on fire and shagging Danny Dyer, and there was a bloke behind me. There's a bloke behind me that went. There's a load of kids on that pitch. I'm not sure it's the most family friendly chant for the fans to sort of dig out, but no, it's good. He played well. He scored a goal. I think we should have scored 4 or 5 today at least. To be fair, so
we should have
4. But there you go. I thought he had a good game. I'll give him an 8.
Yeah, no, he was good. Right, Gary, Danny Ings. I thought Ings had a really good game today.
I think he did, and I think
his best game. This is his best game for us.
Well, was because he was more linking up and dropping deep and doing what comes naturally to him, playing as part of a front unit rather than just one bloke isolated up front.
He's quite a clever player, isn't it? I've noticed he can find a pass. He's a good linked up player.
He is actually, and he set up his little assist for Bowen's goal was great. He should have scored, later on when one was putting a plate for him. Poor sod. I think it's like the second game running.
He was frustrated when he came off.
When that happened, but at the same time, I thought he played really well. I'll give him an 8. I thought he was important to our attack today.
Yeah, he was. I'll take Pablo. Right, I'm probably going to get some pelters for this one, but I love this man so much. He's had such a horrible season. He's been left out in a cold an awful lot. He's coming. He scored some important goals for us. He scored the scorpion kick. He wrapped that goal up for us the other day. And you know what? He was involved in almost everything that was positive today. Pablo Fornals, he was. He was involved in the first goal. Lovely ball out to Bowen. That was the real class ball out to Bowen for the first goal before Bowen whipped the ball over to Rice, which was a great finish, by the way. A lot of people have said Declan Rice miskicked that. No, he fucking didn't. He kicked that. He volleyed that down into the floor. It was a good finish. I'm giving him a 9.
Pablo's brilliant at those first-time balls.
He's that's what I mean.
He doesn't even take a touch. Remember, he laid on away to Leon. He played that ball through for Bowen. First time, split the defense with a pass. He's really good at those first-time passes. He's
so important when he's. I don't think even Paqueta can move the ball like him when you're attacking. They're a great combo, but the way he instantly plays that ball, sometimes on the half volley as well, he can just literally moves it on. It's like, and he must have such great awareness. He knows where he's going to play the ball before he's received it. He's so good.
Instinctive.
You can see both him and Paqueta are they know what they're going to do before the ball comes to him. The difference is as good as Fornals is. Unfortunately, he hasn't got the technique that Paqueta has. When Paqueta does it, he looks like he's doing it effortlessly.
Yeah, look. Paqueta's different. Yeah,
but Fornals is also, because he doesn't play as often, he snatches it because he knows he has to get it absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
And that's
I do think he is a class player in an attacking team. I really do. I think he's outstanding. I don't think he'll do a job if your back's to the wall. He's like I think it was Gonzo from Hammers Chat coined his position as a defensive midfielder at left back, or a defensive left midfielder, which is what he had become, where he was just covering for the fullback all the time. And that's not really, I know he can do it, but that's not, you're not getting the best out of Pabs doing that. That was getting the best out of Pablo Fornals today.
Even David Moyes, after the game, Moyes says that is the best game he's had for us for a long, long time.
Yeah, because we attacked. It's not rocket science.
Well, not only that, my man said to me today, he said, this is Fornals is looking like he's playing the best he's ever played for ages. Because he hasn't been started for ages. All he's got to give in is 10 minutes, 5 minute scraps here and there. And even when he isn't, he's told to defend, and not even allowed to prosper in the midfield. Right. Today he was allowed to do that.
And do you know the reason he didn't have any family at the semi-final the other day was because he didn't think he was going to get on at the game the other day. He didn't. When he was interviewed after the game, and he was all welling up and he was upset because he admitted in that interview, I've cried a lot this year, and he smiled. He said, I've cried more than I ever have. But he didn't think he was going to have any game time there, so he didn't take any family with him. And
shame, isn't it?
It is sad, and he had the best moment, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll get onto the subs. Right, Tommy. You've seen the highlights, and that and Lanzini only really had sort of the last 10, 15 minutes, but he was really good when he came on, more than just a goal. He was getting forward. Lanzini wanted to get on that score sheet. He did. So I'll give you Manu. This could be his last game as well.
Yeah, I love Manu. I have to say,
he's one of my favourites.
I think he's been hard done by this season. I think he had something to offer this season. I really do, and I think he's been underutilized, like Fornals. So I feel bad for him. If this is his last season at West Ham, it's a pity. It hasn't been a better one. He should have had more game time than he's had.
Yeah.
Because he is still a quality player and he still can offer something to the team. And he's just been a brilliant player for us. He really has. And I've loved having Lanzini at the club. And I really wish him well if he's going to go back to River Plate. And it was just, wonderful for him in what is very likely his last game for West Ham, that he was able to come off the bench and bag a goal. To do that off the bench would have meant a lot to him. So for nostalgia reasons, I mean, if any player comes off the bench and makes an impact, scores a goal, it wasn't the winner as it turned out, but it was the insurance goal. The cherry on top. So for coming on and making such an impact, and the fact that I just love Manu, I'm going to give him a very, very respectable substitute 8.
Yes, yeah. I agree with that. Good. I think he was outstanding.
Yeah.
Right, Luke Mabama.
I must admit, I do.
He's the one who set Paqueta off, didn't he? He set Paqueta off on that run where Paqueta should have scored. He played that ball through to Paqueta.
Right. He had a mixed bag for me. I think he's. I'd like him to go longer. Actually, I'd like him to come on for Danny Ings a bit earlier than he did. There was a moment where he went through, and I think he had 2 players either side, and he delayed the pass, and he took one touch too much, and the ball was just too much, and a defender ended up tackling him, and he was sprawled all over the floor. I thought it's little moments like that, with the way that the game had gone, it would have been perfect for him to just slide through and have a good shot on goal. I like him as a player. I didn't see much of him today. Didn't get much game time anyway, so there's not much you can sort of, criticise him with. He didn't get the opportunity that a few of our players did in front of the goal when they should have scored. So that was unfortunate for him. I'll give him a 6 because I don't think he for me, didn't get the opportunity to shoot. And I think as a striker, you need opportunities to shoot.
Yeah.
He's definitely.
But I think that's fine. I think an average performance is fine for coming off the bench. He didn't do anything wrong. He did do something positive. Like I said, he won the ball and he played that pass through to Paqueta. Yeah. He could have had an assist.
He did, and another thing as well, right? He's a confident lad. Clearly, he comes on the pitch and he's not afraid to try stuff out. Right. And we shouldn't bash that out of him. I mean, I remember what you're talking about, Luke, because I was thinking, oh bloody hell, he's not ready yet.
I mean, he ain't good enough.
But he tried it, right? He tried it, and it just didn't come off. But it will come off if he carries on trying those things.
Yeah, it will. I like him. I think he's. I actually do expect him to come good. Whether it's at West Ham, I think he'll get more time at West Ham. I think we'll see more of him next year off the bench, maybe in the European competitions in the early stages. I think he'll get more game time in the cups, and that's going to be. He's going to have to take his chances. He's going to have to.
As Mr. Mann says here, good that he's being integrated in the teams. Well, he seems to be, doesn't he? So you got to say. That is one of my big fears with Moyes is that he don't develop youngsters. Well, he is giving him game time, so that's all right.
Gary Johnson.
He was only on for like how long?
Non-applicable. Just leave him as a 6.
Yeah.
Take Tilo Kehrer then.
Tilo Kehrer, he came on second half to replace Zuma. I think he did a solid enough job. Again, though. In the second half, they got caught with that ball straight through the middle of the centre halves. That's clearly a tactic that people play against us. That and long throw-ins, right? So, I'm going to give him a 6 as well.
Do you know what I like about Kehrer? I like the aggression with which he attacks everything, every tackle, every header. I know he ain't like the best in the air, but when he goes up and he wins a header, it's aggressive. It's like he's flying headbutting the thing. He does it. No, but he's really aggressive. I really like it.
I love that as well. You remember in the second half at Alkmaar, he was on a yellow and he still put in an absolutely brilliant crunching tackle in the penalty area.
He's got balls. He's got balls.
Yeah, he went in full-blooded even though he was on a yellow. I know at some point it'll probably cost him. He'll get himself sent off, and everyone.
I'm a big Kehrer fanboy. I've got to
admit. I love Kehrer. I really do. I think he's a great
it hurts. When he goes in for a tackle, it hurts, right? That's what I like to see, and that's what he did against AZ Alkmaar.
Yeah, he absolutely cleaned him out, didn't he? He just won the ball and then cleaned him out, and I love seeing that. And that's from someone who was on a yellow. Could have given away a penalty, gotten himself a second yellow and sent off. He'd be pilloried for it, but he never hesitates and he doesn't go in half-hearted into anything. I really like Kehrer.
Good point, well made by Brian Flowers here, by the way. Look, good point, well made. This is where Nick tells us he's been telling us all year that Kehrer is good. Yes, I have been. I'm not always right, but I was right with Kehrer.
Always right, sure.
So, Gary, what did you give him, a 7?
I gave him a 6, but look, reading the comments, I think I'm going to go. I look upon this as a democracy, Nick. So looking at the comments, it's all 8s and 7s. So I'm going to give him a 7.
It's not a democracy.
Well, no, it isn't to you. It's
not. This is yours. No. The man of the donkey was democracy,
This show is the United States of Nick Killington.
Yeah, I'm gonna listen to
Kim Jong Nick.
I'm gonna listen to the audience. Yeah, Chinese. That's what I used to call him. Right,
Kim Jong Nick. I think I've been very fair here.
Right. I'm gonna give him a 7. Give him a 7.
Okay, that's fine. That's good. I agree with that. Right, who wants to take? I know it weren't, but it's such a great name. The referee for today, Peter Wanks.
Peter Wanks.
Not me.
Luke, go on. You go on. Go on. Take the ref. And VAR. It's a combo.
For once in my life, I'm going to give VAR a 9. Right, a 9. I'm going to give the referee. I'll give him an 8. wasn't really that bad to us.
Get the haircut.
But the reason why I'm not giving VAR a 10 is because they did it for Lanzini's goal, and they only did it after we'd all celebrated and cried, and Lanzini had this big moment at the corner of the fans. Then when he was walking back, then they went, could be offside. It was
anyone else think like on decisions like the Lanzini one that the VAR and the ref should just stay out of it because it's so close. You just probably shouldn't even be drawing lines.
As far as I'm concerned, if it's, do you know what? It shouldn't be for that. I think there should even be there should be tolerance in it. I think if you're in line, you're onside. You know, you can't be offside by a fucking centimetre. That's ridiculous. I think it almost needs to be almost like a daylight rule. You know,
it was meant to be, wasn't it? It was meant to be, wasn't it? I think it was meant to be. It was meant to be. If you can't decide straight away, if you have to draw lines, then that's it makes the whole thing redundant.
Yeah,
it has to be a clear and obvious. If they're clearly offside, the linesman just happens to have missed it, then you give it. But if it's like, well, you got to the centimetre, then it goes as onside because it used to be the rule anyway. Back in the day,
I saw the lines.
The attackers. They used to say if you're an attacker, because of the game is profitable by goals, you would tend to give it to the attacker because they have the what's it called, the right of way, if you know what I mean. That's the benefit of the doubt, and it always was that way. And I think that, you know, it's fine if you're trying to do it all politically in a Champions League final at the last minute and wanting, you know, Real Madrid versus who and you're trying to make it all, you know, down line and unbiased. But at the end of the day, if you're in line with a defender, you're in line. And, you know, a toe coming out, you know, and who's to say when that ball actually left that player's foot? You're going to do
that's
that
the other thing. That's the other thing as well.
You're going to do it to the lace that come off that touched it last. You know, it's
yeah. I mean, like when the onside and offside line are virtually touching each other. I mean, you just got to mind your own business at that point, and just allow it to go.
I think on this occasion we can't donk the referee up because we got two and
I thought he was all right. I thought the referee was all right. Referee's not VAR, right? The referee didn't request VAR to look at those goals. No. VAR always looks at goals.
Yes,
right, by default.
So can I ask a side question quickly? Has there ever not been a donkey this season for a referee?
No, it's the first time. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we've only just very recently started doing this.
I think someone said it here, and I think this is right. It's a good comment. The ref, he let good rhythm. He let the game flow. It wasn't all stop and start. He stopped the game when he had to. No OTT yellow cards or anything like that. I think they were all sort of deserved, weren't they?
Yeah. I think so. Well, like I say, Paqueta did deserve a yellow card. He was asking for it. He was asking for it. He was. But yeah. So, what are we giving him, a 6?
I don't know. What did Luke say?
I don't know.
I didn't say anything. I've had to charge my laptop.
Would you reckon, De Gea, a 6?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Okay.
Go for it.
Right, Tommy. I'm trusting you to be sensible in this one, so I'm going to give you David Moyes.
All right. Well, look, we can't complain too much today.
We can.
You know,
it was brilliant. It was brilliant today. It was brilliant.
No, in fairness, we can't complain about him today. Yeah. Players went out, got the job done, played well, scored 3 goals, won comfortably. Another substitute scores off the bench for him, second game in a row. So yeah, look, let's give him a good solid 8. You know, he deserves a high mark for today. Yep. Didn't really, no howlers today from Moyes. Didn't really get anything wrong. He got, and to his credit, I think he could see that Zuma was gassed and got him off at half time.
He did. The donkey performed very well today. I must admit, very, very well. It was good. It was good. But yeah, no, that's it. A lot of people are saying 7s, 8s, 9s. It was good. You can't knock it today. It was a wonderful game. Yeah. Right. What I'll do very, very, very quickly, Gary, if you tell me what the options are in the man of the match, just quickly.
Well, the options for man of the match, I think there are. Well, there's 2 in Rice and Paqueta. I don't.
Should I just do a 2-man one?
There's no. Oh, you could say Fornals as well.
Fornals, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Let's run this. Men of the match. And
Moiserino, 8.
Batman, Pabs, and
Yeah, I'd not to influence the poll or anything, but I think, you know, for the day that's in it, I'd probably give it to Rice. You know, scored a goal, could be his last game at home for us.
I don't think it's going to be. We'll talk about this in a bit. I know what we've been reading in the paper. I know what we've been reading in the paper, but no, I'll refuse. I'm going to refuse to acknowledge that Declan Rice is going until he's gone.
Yeah,
personally. Bloody hell, it's overwhelming. Paqueta at the moment.
Yeah,
close. 85%. Fucking hell.
I'm not surprised. He's I'll tell you what, you know, obviously, look, he had his struggles earlier in the first half of the season. Was finding it difficult. I think he was struggling with the pace and intensity of the Premier League, which is far higher than it is in France. And you were starting to wonder, oh Christ, you know, what have we paid 50 million for here? But wondering if we've been shafted or what. But I'll tell you what, it looks now like we've fucking pulled Leon's pants down.
Yeah. Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah,
big time.
Yeah. He looks cheap, doesn't he? At 50 mil.
He looks cheap at 50 million now.
He does now. Right. Okay. So that's the player ratings done. What we're going to do, we'll talk about the Gary. Do you want to talk about the UEFA article that was written earlier on?
Yeah. So there was a quote from somebody at UEFA, and sorry, I haven't got the thing in front of me, so I can't give you the name of the guy. But basically, he said, to summarise, it was unacceptable that players got involved in the trouble that broke out at AZ Alkmaar the other night. And he said that it was West Ham that instigated the trouble, basically. And he said they'll be looking to punish West Ham players and the club for that trouble. Now, just a couple of observations from me. You know, firstly, it wasn't West Ham that instigated the trouble. The AZ Alkmaar fans tore down a fence and charged towards not the West Ham fans, but the hospitality area that contained the wives and girlfriends, right? Yeah. By the way, Knowlesy, who's got a load of excellent publicity. He got a standing ovation inside the ground today, apparently, from those around him who sit around him. So it was great, and you know, he put on a hell of a performance the other night, didn't he? Brave bloke. It
weren't just him; it was him and another big guy. Both staircases. There was two of them. Both doing the same job.
There was him and one other, and there was also an AZ Alkmaar supporter as well. They were all holding the lines, but
apparently the other guy didn't want any recognition like Knowlesy's got. Apparently, he wanted to remain anonymous. But that's what I've heard. So that's why he's not getting the same. The same.
He didn't tell his wife he was going to football, did he?
Maybe.
But yeah, I mean, look, to me, it was ridiculous. It was obvious what had happened. The players the players are humans. And as a human, you can't say that you can't expect a football player to remain to the consummate professional if they see their family potentially getting attacked by hundreds of thugs running towards where they're sitting. So I think it's a bit ridiculous for the UEFA person to say that. Everyone's going to react in that way.
Do you not think they're opening a can of worms here? Because, like I say, when you watch that back, I mean, I've watched this back several times now, and I get more and more angry every time I watch it because the sickening thing was the actual stewards themselves did nothing. The stewards did nothing. They almost
zero arrests as well. Zero arrests.
They almost allowed them through. The police response was non-existent. It took about 5 to 10 minutes for them to come out. And all the stewards, the only aggression that the stewards appeared to be showing was towards West Ham players and staff to stop them getting to the AZ fans that were trying to attack ours.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck was that all about?
We have a very bad reputation and name in Europe, and they are constantly, they don't want us to be in Europe. They don't want us to be successful. And our fans are constantly tarred as hooligans. It was West Ham in particular.
But we ain't a hooligan problem anymore, are we? I mean,
we have always got that noose around our neck. That is the way it's seen. That's why when I talk to a lot of when I have spoken to say, I don't know, if I work with people from Eastern Europe or from America or anywhere, I bump into them and I'll sort of talk to them about what got them interested into West Ham in the first place. They first of all, they say GSC, they say the Green Street film.
Yeah.
And then when it goes on to that, they go, do you know where that come from? I said, yeah, ICF. And none of it is West Ham biomass. None of it's a player from years ago. It's all GSC and ICF. And I think someone said to me years ago, when we first qualified, when we were in the the Upton Park. I think it was Sam Allardyce, or the village to qualify. We didn't qualify. They said, "I'm glad we ain't qualified for Europe." And I said, why is that? He goes, because they're gonna love chucking a book at us in Europe, because rival fans are going to be like, right, West Ham are in Europe. We're going to. So for example, last season when the Betis fans come and attacked West Ham fans, and I think the Frankfurt fans come and. I'm trying to work out which ones it was now, because it was Sevilla.
It was Frankfurt fans basically targeted that pub that we was in.
Basically, no matter how many people want to say, "Oh, this was years ago. We've moved on from that now." The rest of Europe still see us as the 80s hooligans and all sorts of stuff. No matter how, I think it might go in the next few generations, whether or not. But this is West Ham haven't ever really been in Europe before.
But what I will say is, Luke, right now, look, I don't condone fan violence, and I'm glad it's not part of the game anymore. There's more of it now than what there should be. But what I will say, if you're going to have ultras, at least recruit people that can have a fucking fight, because that was embarrassing. They were literally, there was hundreds of them, right? And they were held up. But the guy, Knowlesy's had a hip replacement, right? He's at the top of the stairs. The other guy is like massively overweight. He's at the top there. He's windmilling punches. They're fucking all young fit bros. These guys were pummeling them. They were pummeling them. They couldn't get past them. They're embarrassing. They got goosed on the pitch, and they got embarrassed.
And apparently they were getting a slap off the players' relatives as well, weren't they? It's like so. By the way, some big good news here from Keith Knight. Thank you, Keith, by the way, for the super chat. Hi, chaps.
Yeah,
UEFA they cannot punish AZ fans without punishing West Ham players too, but no action will be taken until after the final. Dutch police made 0 arrests. That is a point I just wanted to make. How the hell did they not arrest at least one fan after they broke that fence down and run towards the hospitality area? How did that happen?
It's obscene.
They encouraged it. I reckon they encouraged it.
It's crooked, isn't it? It's crooked.
They almost like going, go and do the West Ham not over. Go on,
But you know what though? But breaking into an enclosure where you've got all the corporates there, you had like the elderly people. There was I'm not being funny. If you want to be brave, go into the fans, go into the lines. Then
go down the other end.
Go down the other end, climb into that one, see how you get on.
Yeah, I mean, they're never going to fucking live that one down. Imagine like Colin said, the AZ Ultras, and then like getting run out of the fucking hospitality section. Like,
I know.
You're never living that down.
It's so embarrassing.
They had all the gear on and all. They had all dressed in black. They had the balaclava.
Do you know that?
I forgot their bollocks though, didn't they? They left their bollocks at home.
This shit's got to stop though with the ultras, because you got Palace with their silly ultras, right? You've got exactly Arsenal. Apparently, you're not allowed to march with the Arsenal ultras unless you're wearing all black.
Gary, they are.
You got to wear all black, right?
The Arsenal ones are
proper naughty, right? But the thing is, right, very well, if West Ham decided, we're going to have our own ultras,
we can't.
Ultras would be banned overnight. They'd be banned
because Anne would be horrible. That's why.
Yeah, I know, but it shouldn't be encouraged, because look, Arsenal and Palace, to be fair, they're just innocent interpretations of what the ultra thing is. They're formation dancing, drum bashing, fucking clowns, right? Yeah. But when you're talking about the European ones, the European ones are quite sinister,
We'd dress all in red so it didn't show up the bloodstains of our opponents. That's what we'd do.
Yeah, fucking we're so fucking hard that we're beating rival fans with our hospitality section.
Yeah. I know.
Nick
AZ's ultras weren't even worth our actual fans having a row with. We just sent the hospitality.
Are any of you on Instagram? Out of interest,
I am. I rarely use it, but
I'm going to send you a link, because there's a new angle of the fight that Knowlesy was involved in has come up with the ultras. And the funniest thing is, I'll send it to you now, and you can have a look yourself. But the funniest thing is, there's a security guard there. There's fists being thrown everywhere. You've got this one security guard going, "Calm down, mate. Calm down. Don't." Think about what you're doing. The bloke's like punching every side of his head, and he's just going, "Just think about what you're doing. Think about what you're doing."
It's ridiculous.
I don't know what he was saying, but it was just the way his body movements. Like, come on,
Look at it. Look at this from Dave Luxton. UEFA reps were in that enclosure as well.
Exactly. So that makes it even more surprising that you.
They know what happened.
Yeah. I know. I think they were.
No.
I think they were heroic. I mean, did you see Marlene Harewood? He was in there, wasn't he? He was getting rolled up. He was about to charge down there as well.
Well, did you see what they did when Antonio did like a slow menacing walk towards him?
It was
they
wonderful.
Turned around and walked away.
He literally jumps over the hoarding. This is a random one that I saw on Twitter. And he jumps over the holding. There was a crowd of them, you know, four to five of them with their back to him, and they've turned around and sort of seen him, and he's just doing like a slow walk to him. I swear, with every step that he took, they took 2 steps back, and he was smiling as he was walking towards him. It was so funny.
Yeah,
you wouldn't want to cop a right-hander from him, would you?
Yeah. I wouldn't worry about UEFA. They're full of shit. They're talking a lot of bluster, but what will happen is they said, "Yeah, we'll deal with it after the final." You'll never hear about it again.
Yeah. I agree.
They did the same with the Frankfurt game last season. Like the fucking stewards just let them in. You know, the Frankfurt ultras just opened the fucking gate and let them in. And nothing happened afterwards. Absolutely nothing. So by the time we've played the final, people have completely forgotten. And
they will have. Did you see Flynn Dans? Flynn Dans went full Romford on a Friday night, didn't he? Did you see him?
He did. He was in faces for a minute. Inside his head, he was in faces, wasn't he?
He went fucking mad, didn't he?
I fucking love that Lucas Paqueta went in there, having no family or friends in there, just went in there because he just wanted a row.
I know. And he was proper on his toes as well because they were trying to hold him back and he kept on. He was ducky. Yeah, he loved it. He absolutely loved it.
See this from U70. This is quite nice. Ballon Dawson, the big Craig, big Dawes gets a medal if we win. That's superb.
Wonderful. That would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Yeah, wouldn't that be beautiful?
It would be. John Terry will appear in the celebrations as well.
Yeah, he will. Yeah, dressed in the West Ham kit. Yeah.
Right, but look, before we start taking a few calls, we're going to move on to now. Look, listen. How many months ago, Gary, did I talk about the Qatar deal on Hammers Chat? It was quite a few.
Oh, many months. I think you were an early adopter of this news, Nick.
I was an early adopter. Right, I broke this news.
You broke this news. Yeah,
I broke this news. Yeah. But look, listen. When I did break that news. But basically, I'll be honest with you. That was me putting 2 and 2 together because look, the Qataris, they had been mentioned and they had been linked with the club in the past, very very early after we moved into the stadium, and they have swept up a load. This is Qatari DR. They've swept up a load of property in and around the London Stadium. Since then, as the show's gone on, you sort of start talking to people. You develop new contacts and stuff like that. And I do talk to someone now that is very closely connected with the board. And no, it's not Sean Whetstone. It's someone else. And this guy has given information in the past as well. I've not done videos on this because I just haven't. But he's always maintained that the Qataris were primarily interested, along with Jim Ratcliffe and someone else who I can't remember. They might have been American owners from. They already own a sports team, and they were quite close to signing us as well at one point. And apparently Brady fucked it all up. But yes, the Qataris are very very interested in buying the club. They are now, as we know, they have been linked just recently with Man United, but Man United have been greedy. I think they offered 5.5 billion, and Man United want over 6. So they've dropped their interest, and they're turning their attention to East London, where they've always had an interest. Now, if you look at that, we're going to be far closer to a billion, a billion. And I know we've had these conversations before. We did a show when Newcastle got bought out, and we were all very kind of moral high ground, this, that, the other. But look, I'm not being funny. Where we are at the moment, if you can't beat them, you join them. And I'm not being funny. When you look at what they've done at in and around the area at Man City, it's not been too bad. They've invested in the local area. They've done really, really well. They're going to do the same in Newcastle as well. I think they've built the team really well. And I ain't being funny. We've already sold our soul by fucking leaving Upton Park. I think we should go full on into it. And if we get it, I'm going to embrace it. You know, roll on. And I will say before I crack on, before we move on from this and we start talking about it, this is my point. This is why I refuse to accept that Declan Rice is going anywhere, right? Because especially when you hear that Declan Rice has almost agreed a deal to go to Arsenal. Apparently, he wants to go somewhere to win things, right? Why go to Arsenal? He might win an FA Cup. He might win a League Cup. They're never going to win in Europe. They are never going to win that fucking league because this year they had no European distractions at all. They had a free run, a free hit with a load of other teams that were faltering. They will never, ever get a better opportunity than what they had this year. If he leaves and this is why I don't think he will, because I do think that Declan Rice loves it here. I do think I think he's ambitious. I think he's torn. But if his option is Arsenal or West Ham, who are on the verge of doing a Newcastle, we could be getting. I'm not being funny. Before the end of next season, Declan Rice could have egg on his face. If he leaves for Arsenal and we get bought out by the Qataris, I'm not being funny. That could turn out to be a very, very silly fucking move, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think that's the reason he'll stay. I do. I do think that's the reason he'll stay. I think because he wants to win things. I think he wants to win things, but we're going to have won something. I know that, but honestly, mate, Arsenal, I know they're a big club. They're not going to win the Premier League. If they didn't win it this year, they're never going to win the Premier League. They're not.
If they didn't do what they did this year, they wouldn't even be in the fight. But I think it's just the fact that they're looking at it as they're one of the new up and coming teams. So he's one to sort of come in and help them. That's the angle I'm looking at as. But just on the Qataris, just on the I don't like the stadium. I don't like Stratford. I don't like any of the shopping centre FC vibe that you get from it. Right, the whole thing to me. I hardly went to Upton Park, but I don't really. It's very. I think even John was saying the other day. It's very strange when you see shoppers and so many football fans mixing in Westfield before a game. It doesn't sort of feel right in a way, but that's another thing. But Stratford is a major, growing, hugely profitable area of London at the minute. There's constantly things happening around Stratford. So, in my opinion, if the Qataris want to buy West Ham, they don't just want to buy West Ham for West Ham. They want to buy West Ham because it's in the hub.
Yeah,
they could turn it. They could turn it into.
Absolutely.
But that can go both ways, because then you have something that completely loses the West Ham culture. And then hopefully they will turn it into what they've done with Manchester City, which they've made it more of a community club, and they've made it like all the training centres and all sorts of stuff like that. They tried to make it better, which is if it works, it works. Man City fans will know more than I will. But I get, to me, West Ham gives me a bit of a rented vibe. Like, it's good when the game's going on, stuff like that, but nothing shouts West Ham until you literally walk on that bridge and you get onto outside the ground and you can see the stadium and stuff like that. Everything else is just shopping.
But that's because we don't own it though.
Yeah, and hopefully modern football is totally against what I like about football itself. And I'm hoping that if we do get someone that comes in for the money, they don't just go, right, West Ham's in the Premier League, they're in Europe or whatever.
Yeah.
We're going to make this the most modern football sort of West Ham, the most modern football club there is, because we will lose any sort of soul that we've got now. So if it works out great. But that's my worry, is because we're in that Stratford hub.
But the thing is, I don't think it will. I think it will become that. Look, they are sports driven. We've seen that with the Qatari World Cup. You've seen it with what they've done in Manchester. You've seen it with what they're doing in Newcastle. If they buy West Ham, they're going to want to make a success of it, especially because you've got the other Arab. It's going to be like country versus country, isn't it? So they're going to want to make a success of it. And the fact of the matter is, I think it will become more West Ham, because everybody knows that at some point that stadium, we're going to own it. It's going to almost get given to us on a plate.
It's this year, isn't it? It's meant to be this year that they can buy it.
Yeah. So I think it will happen. Now, I just want to address this, because, and I'm not saying I disagree with you, Barney. And Gary is literally, one of the most. His moral compass is right. It's always where it should be. Hang on, Gary.
I'm sorry, go
on. Barney McGrew says, "Do football fans give a shit where the money comes from? No questions asked. That's fucking sad." I'm not being funny. Who are we owned by at the minute? But then that's not clean. Oh, if David Sullivan was in that part of the world, it'd be just as fucking bad. He's made his money in the seediest way possible that he could possibly make money. Okay, he's a shady character. He just is. Now, I am sorry. I'm not justifying whatever happens in these parts of the world. I'm not. But if they're going to come over here and they're going to invest in the club and they're going to invest in a local area and give people jobs, then I'm sorry. Then I'm not going to. No, I'm past being like that. No, I'm not. Like I said, we've already sold our soul. We've left Upton Park. We've either got to go full into it or fucking crawl into our shell. We can't be little old West Ham anymore. We can't be. What do you reckon?
I have had. I'll go round the houses on this, because as you said, I struggle with where the money comes from and things like that. But again, I think when you look at where's the money come from with David Sullivan and David Gold, I think everyone knows that Sullivan made his early money through the porn industry quite a lot of it.
Exploiting young girls, let's be honest.
Yeah. And it was bad. And I think currently he makes a lot of his money through property. That's how he does it. And David Gold, before he died, the Gold family, his daughter Jacqueline, who's just passed away, she made a great success of what's it called? What's it called? Ann Summers. You know, a great success, and that was an above board business. So I think it's kind of questionable. It's a mixed bag. I think when you're looking at the Qataris, I don't know. I don't want to comment on them. I had a lot to say around the World Cup. I had lots to say around the World Cup because, you know, there was a lot of shit that went on with the building of those stadiums and things like that. But as far as you know, the rest of this, I'd like to first of all see if it's a reality before. I don't want to pass judgment on them just yet. But if it does turn out that whoever we're dealing with, their money is coming from a shady place, then it would leave a bad taste in my mouth, without a shadow of a doubt. But I am torn. I'm torn because every other bloody club,
money itself is shady.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
every
UEFA
shady. Everything's the whole thing about football.
I know, and that's what I'm trying to say, because every club that's successful at the moment, Man City, their money comes from Abu Dhabi. You know, Saudi funds Newcastle. You know, it's very likely there'll be other Middle Eastern investors, and you know, and there are a lot of American owners in the Premier League as well. And a lot of the American owners are very much interested in having a sort of fixed league with no promotion and relegation, and that's who's primarily pushing this European Super League thing. So I think it's a case of either joining the club or staying outside the club.
Yeah,
and I think I'm erring towards joining the club. And if that means, you know, we've got questionable owners, then it doesn't sit very well with me, but I see why it has to be done. You know, it's that or you ain't part of the big time anymore. And I firmly believe that's where it's going to be in 10 years' time. Every single club in that Premier League is going to have very, very, very rich owners. Some of them are going to be states. They're going to form this European breakaway league. At some point, football is going to change completely again, like it has so far. You know, and yeah. So
Chris has already sold his car and bought a camel.
So yeah, sorry,
it's all set.
Yeah, but West Ham, that'll be just our luck.
Tom, go on.
Yeah, well, first of all, we're West Ham. It'll like nothing ever goes right for us.
They run out of gas, wouldn't they, when they buy us?
Yeah, we fucking the day after they buy us, the fucking oil will run out. Or it'll turn out that this Qatari has nothing to do with oil. He's like a fucking camel breeder. He's got less money than Sullivan. But yeah, look, I think football is what it is already. Like, let's not pretend, you know, football's fucking squeaky clean. And, you know, you've got two options. You can take the kind of moral high ground and say, you know, we don't want to go down that road. But I think if you're a fan, you know, like the City fans at the moment, and you're seeing West Ham doing something like City are doing, you probably quickly fucking forget, you know, what's what, really. It's everywhere in football now. It's absolutely everywhere. So I'm not inclined to take the moral high ground on it. I mean, I think the money itself is legit money. It's fucking oil money, isn't it? So I think the problem people have is the kind of maybe the culture over there and some of the laws and stuff like that, and how they run their own country. But I think I probably would be able to separate that out from their ownership of West Ham to a degree. I'm not inclined to tell other people how to run their countries. You know, it's for them to kind of decide those things for themselves. But the money itself, I think, is just oil money.
So that's kind of where I'm going as well. Is that, you know, that is their country. They are entitled to run their country how they want to run their country. It's not up to us to dictate that you know, to them. We might not agree with it. It might not be the same way we run our country.
Us in America are not exactly squeaky clean, are we?
No, we're not. And so yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Tommy. I mean, yeah. I'd like to have higher morals with it, but I can't really.
No.
We're as football fans, we're caught between a rock and a hard place with all this because in the day,
can we not separate politics and football and just look at them as investors?
This is what I'm trying to say.
The
point I'm trying to make is the fact that the majority of people, the weekend, all they want to do is go and see a bit of kickball for 90 minutes, see their mates, and watch players cheer them up for the rest of the weekend or whatever, and then go home, right? And you tend to go. I'm not bothered about wages and all this. All I want to see is that player kick that ball into that net and make me feel good for this weekend, that weekend. And unfortunately, we, up until a point, like for example, I don't actually, honestly, personally, this is just my opinion. I don't think the Newcastle fans would be as up in arms and welcoming to the Saudis if Mike Ashley hadn't been like slapping him in the face like he did for all those years. And for them, it was just a relief that he was going and that finally someone else was taking him over. And it just happened to be that these are very rich people that were going to put them into a different stratosphere, or that they were. That's just what I get off it. But we love football. There was a comment in here and it actually just said, you know what, if you don't like it, go and go and invent your own team, which is what Wimbledon did. I think when they took Wimbledon went to MK Dons, didn't they? Yeah. And I think they said they're not having this, we're making their own team. And I do 100% see that point. The fact is that West Ham and clubs like ours are so ingrained to a community to an extent, is that like it's almost like impossible to do that because you would need the backing of so many people to do it. So much money and everything like that, like the Salford thing with Man United, all sorts of stuff like that. But fundamentally, we love football. We hate them. I know loads of people that hate them. Well, even half and half. I feel sick when I walk past a half and half scarf before a game.
Yeah,
that's right. So
I saw one at Brentford. Someone had a half and half West Ham Brentford scarf.
Did
you see that, girl?
Mate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean that's
weird.
But I'll tell you what we have got. I'd say because we've got. I've just checked. We've got loads of calls, so we've got about 10 calls.
Sorry, lads. Just for
so what we do, we're going to start with let's just make sure this works. We'll do the first.
How many you got? I'll work it out.
Hang on 1 minute. Let's make sure.
Because I'm going to time the callers when we work out how long we're going to give them each.
Oh, it fucking was working. 1 minute. I just dumped it as it rang. 1 minute. Is it?
We stop calling people. How many are you going to call?
There's about 9.
Noddy here. How are you, son?
Hey, Noddy. How are you, Black Country? You all right?
Yeah, I'm fucking sweet. How you doing, kid? You all right?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Nolly, I'll phone you back. You know the rules. Nolly, you're on the list, mate. I've got everyone who's texted me and WhatsApp me. You're on there. I'm going to call you. Right. Sorry, mate. Go on. What would you like to talk about, Black Country?
Just towards the end of the season, mate. What a difference! A few weeks, mate. You know what I mean?
I know.
Where's all this been hiding? You know? What a cracking match that was. I wasn't there today. I watched it on Sky Sports, but what a cracking game that was after about 10 minutes. But where's all that been hiding? You know? What a cracking game. Absolutely brilliant.
So you've got questions as to why we haven't seen more of this season?
Well, just like every other fan, I suppose. You know, before the World Cup, it was frustrating. What was it? Blackburn, we lost in the Cup. That was diabolical, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Crystal Palace, Leicester. And that's when I was on the fence with Moyes out and all that kind of stuff. And after those 3 games, I thought, well, that's it. I'm off the fence. I'm Moyes out. And I'm still Moyes out. But at least he's got a little bit more credibility now.
Yeah.
And then if we do win the European, if we do win the final, and then he's got a bit more credibility where I'm concerned. But I still think we need to change. But there again, that depends who the owners are and all that kind of stuff. What you've just been talking about.
Yeah. But
I'm pleased. I'm a lot happier than I was a few weeks ago. Put it that way.
Oh, so am I, mate. It was wonderful today. But look, I think it's quite simple. I think we all agreed a couple of weeks ago that we want, and this goes back to a show that I did where that David Moyes wanted to finish on a high. They've had the handshake. He wants to win the cup. He wants to take the shackles off. I know we haven't seen that in every game, and we've said it a few weeks back as well. Look, the fact is, we do want to win the cup. We do want to finish strong. We want a good feel around the place. And what I will say, even if Sullivan did want to retain Moyes now, because David Moyes will know this season that he's only ever a couple of bad results away from everyone turning on him anyway. He actually is. If it starts going the same way, it will be the same. He won't have as much credit as what he had this season. I think for him now, if he wins the cup, that's three years of qualification, for his CV. I think it's the right time for him to move on if we win the cup. Personally, that's what I think.
I think if we do win the cup, I think it's in his best interest to move on. But also, I also remember is that when Karen Brady come out, when the announcement of leaving the bowling for the London Stadium, that it was, what was that statement now? It was world-class stadium, world-class players, and we'll bring the European football. That's the last point I'm getting to now, the European football. And when that statement came out, and she made that statement, European football, it said, which I hope, and every fan, West Ham fan, we all hope that we do win that final. You know what statement's going to come out afterwards is that we promise you that. That's what we're giving you. You know what I'm saying, yeah.
Well, but
that's what they'll.
But in a sense, as much as that will make our skin crawl, they've probably got a point to a degree.
They have got a point, yeah. They have got a point to a degree, yeah. They promised what. They've given us what they promised.
Yeah.
So as for the takeover, I think it will be Ratcliffe. To be honest with you.
Well, I'd be happy with that. To be honest, out of the two, if it was Qatari or Ratcliffe all day long for me.
Oh,
He's incredibly rich himself, incredibly rich, and he would be a sugar daddy. He wants a plaything now. He wants to retire and have some fun. That's basically what he wants. So that would be, like I say, I know, and I'm not criticising. It's like, but Barn, look, I can understand how this does not sit right with a lot of people. Of course I can. We've done many shows on it, Gary. I can understand understand it. But the fact of the matter is, if it happens, it happens, and you just got to go along with it. Like I said, look at where we're playing football now. We've sold our soul already. Now, Tommy, what are your thoughts on that? Do you reckon they will? Do you think Black Country's right? Do you reckon they will come out and sort of rub our noses in it a little bit?
Yeah, probably. I have to make a confession because I've had to have a little rethink since Thursday night just to go talk on Moyes. But what I found on Thursday...
Nice having you on, Tommy. See you later.
I don't mean about Moyes. I don't mean about Moyes staying on beyond this season.
Yeah.
I've been so caught up in how much I can't stand the style of play and his whole approach to the game, his philosophy. Yeah. I actually found myself on Thursday evening, not actually enjoying the game.
That's what happened to me.
Because I hate the way that we set up. I hated the way we were sitting off them, that we're being so passive, unnecessarily, in my opinion. I understand we won both legs, but it's because Alkmaar is such a limited side, in my opinion, that we were able to beat them even playing negatively. And I just hated the way we approached both of those games. We're a much better team now. Lucas Paqueta probably cost more than their starting 11. Yeah, and I just feel like, why are we sitting off this lot? We should be putting them to the fucking sword.
Cost more than their stadium, I reckon.
Yeah, and I hate that philosophy and the way he sets up so much. I found myself unable to enjoy the game. And even when the game was over and we'd won it and we'd made the final, I should have felt like completely elated.
Yeah.
And I didn't. I just didn't feel that way at all because I just hate the way we're doing it. And I just can't stand that style of play. And on Friday, I just had to have a little word with myself and say, you know what, look, this is where we're at. David Moyes is the manager. This is just how he's going to set up against teams, even if they're really inferior. And he's going to do the same in the final against Fiorentina, which worries me because I think Fiorentina are going to have a lot more about them in the final third than Alkmaar did. And it could cost us, but that's for another day. But I found myself saying, do you know what, fuck it, I just have to enjoy this because I've been waiting so long to win a trophy, and making this final is a huge thing. And I have to try and kind of allow myself to be fucking happy. You know what I mean? That we're there and that we might win it.
I said the same thing, Tommy. I made a video the next day because my fuck off, Mickey. Everyone phone Nick. But I had the same thing the other day because I reacted the same way. I didn't enjoy the game. I had such it was euphoria when Forlan scored that goal. But I have got this like irrational hatred of David Moyes now. It is starting to feel a bit irrational at times, and it did. It literally all that had to happen was the camera cut to David Moyes of him celebrating, and it just lowered my mood. I was literally looking at him thinking, oh, you know, and it is stupid. I should be enjoying this, especially when you look at the season we've had. We should be able to enjoy this.
Yeah, you should be. You know, right, right, Nick. Black Country. I think we need to move on to the next caller now. Now, Nick.
Right, okay, Black Country. Thank you very much, Gary's keeping an eye on the clock for everyone now.
I'm timekeeper. Cheers,
timekeeper. Cheers, mate.
My 10 minutes is up. Okay, catch you later.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Right, let's do the next one. 1 minute. Just put comments up when I'm looking for people because I've got loads.
I'm trying. I can't multitask.
Hey,
I can't multitask.
You can't multitask.
Can you run a quick poll on who we want to come in and replace Moyes? Oh God, let's wait and see if Moyes goes first.
Well, listen. What I've heard is that we've made long strides with Pinto of Roma, who is a director of football, 38 years old, Portuguese, and he's interested. He's a very, very highly regarded proper director of football, and he has a very good relationship already with Fonseca of Lille, who we've been in talks with because they've worked together before. So that could be the combo. A couple of Portugueses.
Yeah, as long as Fonseca works for Pinto and not the other fucking way around.
Yeah, no, I know.
Are we sure on Fonseca?
Yeah, I'll give anyone a go. Right, we've got. I'm phoning abroad here.
Yeah, well, you're not. It's free on WhatsApp, isn't it?
Oh, lovely stuff. Hello, Mick. You all right?
All right, lads. How are you going? Yeah, I'm all right, thanks.
I'm very well. What would you like to talk about, Mick?
Why, as a club, would we even want to play a reserve goalkeeper in a European final? No other club would do that.
He's not a reserve goalkeeper, though, is he?
He's a cup goalkeeper.
He technically is, but he's not really.
Right.
Well, so you would drop him you would drop him and play Fabianski.
100%, yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that.
No, I can't agree with that. Sorry.
Yeah, but.
Yeah, look, well, give us your reasons why. Give us your reasons why.
Right. Well, he's the first team goalkeeper, or he wouldn't play in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So, well, he wouldn't change a right back and say, "Oh, well, we'll play Johnson because he's a local lad over Kera Kufal." So I don't understand that you go into a final not playing your best team.
I've never seen why. I've never seen why keepers need a rest. Right? I've never seen it. I know. Maybe they get
no, I don't either. No.
Right.
You don't see Emerson having a rest for Man City, do you?
No, you don't. No.
It's a major European final. It's a major European final.
I know, but in my opinion, Mick, and this is just me, right? I do believe that Areola is a better keeper than Fabs. I do. I think he suffered. I think he suffered with his confidence this year because he hasn't had as much game time, which is what happens. Players get rusty. But he's on 125 grand a week for 5 years. We've paid a lot of money for him. It totals about 45 million, the full deal. He should have been our first team keeper this year. The trouble is Moyes has his favourites. That's the only. It doesn't. It's not. It ain't like we're talking about Darren Randolph here. We're talking about Areola, and I think Areola is a better keeper than Fabianski, or they're on par. They're at least there's nothing in it because the mistakes that Areola got chastised for after that game for letting the mistake that where he let that ball in his near post. Fabianski's done that in like 3 consecutive games.
Thank you.
In the Premier League, would you not agree with that, Luke?
I totally agree. There was just going to quickly make this point because I'm not going to go on it too much, but Areola has been a very, very good goalkeeper for us over the last 2 seasons in Europe, in the Europa League. Made save of the season last year. Very, very reliable, and he made one. Not even a mistake. He should have done better with a shot. Don't get me wrong, but the penalties he got was suddenly like, oh, he's almost like
It was a good shot, wasn't it? It was a good shot.
But it was almost like he was a youth goalkeeper. We were given a chance. We're saying we shouldn't be playing in goal. Hold on, he's been playing in goal throughout the competition and done really, really well. Yeah. Second of all, and this is the point I will always make to people, is that when Tottenham got through to the Champions League final about 4 years back, Lucas Moura was the person that got them there, scoring a hat trick, right? And everyone was saying that Harry Kane would probably get chosen because he's their number one striker, but Moura should be starting that game because they wouldn't even be in the final if it hadn't been for him. Harry Kane started, did fuck all in that game, and they still lost. And I know where the call is coming from to an extent, but I've been pissed off with the reaction that Areola's sort of mistake in the first leg, and then saved us in the second leg with Kera's mistake passing it back to him, and he was on their hands to clear it out. So he still kept us in the game. And for me, you can't just because it's a final. That's like to me. That's like two fingers up at Areola for all the hard work he's done for all the group stage and the rounds to get us to the final. That would be if teeing out. If we start Fabianski over him in the final, Areola will be like, no, fuck. I think he'll go. Later. Bye.
I don't think you. And don't get me wrong. I think mixed point stands.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, I think mixed point stands for outfield players. So if you've gone playing your youth players or your second string throughout the competition against weaker opponents, like we have, when it gets to the money part of the competition, then you do play your strongest outfield players. We want all the big players out there, which is what we've done. So I think that works. But I think when you're talking about Areola and Fabianski, Mick, I don't think you can really call Areola a reserve keeper. Do you know what I mean? I know you're right, because effectively he is, because he's the backup keeper. But in real terms, he doesn't weaken us by being in that between the sticks, does he?
Well, I wouldn't. Well, I suppose you're sort of half right and half wrong. It's because, like, you pick your best 11, especially when you get to a European final.
Yeah.
You have to start your best team. You've got to. And it's not who is the better goalkeeper, what you think or I think, but the manager, he's
But I don't even know.
He's not going to pick his best goalkeeper.
But I don't even think with David Moyes it's because he thinks it is his best goalkeeper. I do believe that with David Moyes it's a loyalty thing.
Yeah.
Who would we want in goal if it went to a penalty shootout?
Oh yeah. Well, look. Well, Fabianski's a very good penalty saver. We know that.
Can I just make a point that just out of where you're saying that the best goalkeeper is picked by Moyes because that's who the best keeper is, regardless of what fans think. Moyes has played Souček all season long when he clearly isn't the best midfielder, but he plays him because that's his midfielder. That's the guy he trusts. That's the guy he thinks is the best person to deploy his tactics during the game. And he's been awful for at least 75% of this season. So I know what you're saying that like, in the eyes of West Ham, Fabianski is the number one goalkeeper, but for many people, and I think probably even to an extent, Moyes probably knows he's not technically as good as Areola, but it's just because he's been the stalwart of West Ham for so many years now, and he's his man in goal, and he does what he wants him to do. Then that's who he goes with. But I don't think in anyone's mind, realistically, that I know you're saying in the final play your best team, but that would mean that half those players that have got us to the Conference League final wouldn't be playing. So you'd probably have no Kera.
I mean, I will say, right, listen, I think there is an argument to say, Mick. No, but I think there is an argument to say, because you're talking about penalties, right? So we'd have to go into extra time. There is an argument to say, and I don't think Areola could argue that fact because we've seen him against Blackburn in a penalty shootout.
Yeah, it was terrible.
There is an argument to say that if we was late in the second half of extra time, you could make that change and you could bring Fabianski on. And I don't think that would upset Areola. Yeah. I don't think that would upset anyone, but we know that Fabianski's specialty is saving penalties. So I think you could do that. You could make that change late on, and I think he probably would. Yeah, I think he probably would bring Fabs on.
I would go with that as well. But I mean, in summary, my feeling on this: you can't use a keeper to get you to a final and then drop him.
Not a keeper. No.
No, and we know he's.
Yeah, but you're not dropping him. You just play. You're not dropping him. You're just playing the number one.
Oh, yeah, no, I know, but he is the number one cup keeper, Mick. We've got a cup keeper and a league keeper. It's not really number 1 and 2. That's what we've got.
Yeah. You're splitting hairs there. Mick. that would be dropping him. It really would, and it wouldn't be deserved. I mean, we're lucky that we actually have got two very good goalkeepers. Usually your first choice keeper is significantly better than your backup, but we're very lucky in that. If you were to run a poll about whether Fabianski or Areola is the better keeper, I mean, I think that would be quite close in a poll. And
I'll do one in the chat now. It's a good one. It's a good talking point.
Yeah, right, it's a good talking point.
But it's not us who picks the team; it's the manager. It's not us who picks the team. So,
all right. If the question is what will Moyes do, that's a simple one. Mick, he'll play Areola in the final.
Yeah, he will.
If you're asking what you think Moyes will do, he'll play Areola.
I'll tell you what, here's an interesting one. Just before Mick goes, 1 minute, because based on that point, Kera's played very well at right back for the past 2 Europa League games. Would you drop him for Soufal at right back?
Well, I would personally, because Soufal's going to put his body on the line out there, isn't he?
And he's probably he's more defensively solid as well, wouldn't he?
Nick, here's a question.
Go on, mate.
Actually, it's the same one. You train the team, don't you?
Yes.
Your son's team. You get to a final, a massive final.
Yep.
You play your best 11. Your best 11. Who you think is your best 11?
Of course you would.
Yeah. So I don't understand why we think it's okay for David Moyes to change a goalkeeper. It's a massive position.
But hang on a minute. But I think you're talking about something different, because I don't think that David Moyes with the goalkeeper situation. If I'm talking about strikers, and I've got one striker that's far and away better than the other striker, but the other striker's got us to the final, I'm going to play my best striker in the final. But I think we're talking about 2 comparative keepers here. And in my opinion, the better keeper is the backup keeper. And I think David Moyes knows that, which is why we spent so much money on him.
Right. We need to move on to the next caller now. Mick, thanks for your call. Thanks very much.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Great show, lads.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. All right, bye.
This is much easier with you doing this, Gary, because I'm rubbish at doing all this.
I know, I'm just butting in and
I know.
Even though I've got that timing completely wrong.
You're just rude.
And personally, I think it would be actually a pretty fucking shit thing to do to drop Areola for the final.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if we want to keep him, you can forget about it. If he does that, he's gone. He's going to walk out. He'll put in a transfer request next morning.
I see Mick's point. He sees Fabs as a number 1 and Areola as a number 2. Why do you use a number 2 in the final? But it's not really like that. It's like 2 number 1s, isn't it? It's like a number 1 for cups and a number 1 for league.
Yeah. Right. Let's do the next one. I'll tell you what, Tom, you can take this one first. I'll do the intro. There might be a couple that don't pick up because we're getting later.
Hello, mate.
Hello, Alex from Essex / Bournemouth. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. How you doing?
I'm not too bad. Are you still in Bournemouth?
I am.
You are. Good stuff, mate. Well, it's good. Thanks for calling back in. What would you as I'm sure you're watching the show, you're with Luke, Gary, Irish Tommy, and myself. What would you like to talk about?
Well, it was going to be about if you had like a sort of perfect choice, who would you like to score a winning goal at the final?
Ooh.
I've had this question put to me before.
Well, Tommy can go first. Go on, Tom.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Oh, who would I like to score the winning goal? That's a tough one.
Pablo Forlan for me.
Good shout.
Yeah,
I picked him as well.
Pablo Forlan.
All Downs. All Flynn Downs.
Yeah, I haven't got the affection for Downs yet. Not yet.
Hold on.
Not yet.
Tommy, sorry.
Sorry, Tom.
Yeah, I think for the season he's had, I agree. I'd love to see Pablo come off the bench, score the winner. That would be amazing. Like you, Nick, I absolutely love Fornells. I always have. It's not a recent thing. I've loved him since he joined.
He's so underrated by our own fan base as well.
Yeah,
by a lot of them anyway. By a lot of them.
He's put me in my place sort of the past week, because I'll be honest with you, I thought he was shit. I'm not going to lie, because of how he's been performing.
He has been shit. He's been shit.
Yeah, I know. But for me, it was when we were having the discussion of like who should be the next captain. and people were going, "Oh, it's obviously Pablo." I was thinking, "You're fucking mental. He can't even be in the first 11. How is he going to captain us if he's not on the pitch?" But yeah, to be fair, this week he sort of put me in my place of it because obviously pulled out something pretty special on Thursday, and then today as well, I was completely on fire. So
it was. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna. Gary can go next, and then Luke. Right, my one. I'm gonna take it. My one now, because I think that Lanzini is going to move on, would be for Lanzini to do to Fiorentina what he did to Tottenham, to bring it back to 3-3 right at the fucking
Jesus,
ping it in from distance, because that was some celebration as well, wasn't it? That was a moment. And Lanzini don't score. But to be honest, I think today's goal was the shittest goal he's ever scored. I don't think he's ever scored a tap in before. It was. I would love to see Lanzini score a rocket.
Do you know what would be amazing as well? Imagine like we're defending deep, like they're pushing, trying to get a winner themselves.
Yeah.
And we're obviously playing on the counter. And then someone like, say, Aguirre just pops the ball out, maybe just 10, 15 yards to Paqueta, and he turns and skins about 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And then chips the keeper. Just does, someone like Paqueta to just do something amazing, to just score absolute worldy of a goal.
Yeah. That and then dance on them and piss off the Italians.
I'll tell you what, someone's just gone for my answer in the chat, right? Because this, and I'm gonna, it's not Antonio, right? But it's being played in Prague final. It's being played in Prague. I would like, a counter attack with Vlad making his way in. I want Souček out on the left wing as a provider. I want him to push the ball into the middle, and I want Vlad to arrive out of nowhere on the edge of the box and blast it into the top corner with a first-time volley.
Yeah,
bringing the cup home.
Yeah, just hit it like.
I think it retired.
Special. Yeah, hit it like Pavard. Remember Pavard's goal at the World Cup? He's a right back. Imagine if Sofel come up and did something like that to win it.
I'll tell you what. Here's a question for you all now. I'll ask you first, Alex. Right. So we'll fast forward to the final. Yeah. Fast forward to the final. Listen, we want to wipe the floor with Fiorentina and have an easy one, but there is nothing like the emotion of a hard-fought game and getting a last gasp winner. How would you like us to win the game? Would you like us to beat them 4-0 or 5-0? Or would you like us to go 2-0 down and come back against all odds, pull it back to 2 and then win with a dramatic goal in extra time? How would you like us to win?
Well, if you could? I will merge your question with my question.
Yeah.
So I'll give you how I want it to be done and by who.
Yeah.
With the best of wishes to him, I want Antonio to go off injured. Oh no, Scamacca's got to come on. He's back there. I'll give him the last 5 minutes, and he gets the winner.
Yeah. That's a nice one.
And then if he gives the V's to Moyes after, that'd be nice as well as a bonus. But he might not do that.
Yeah, it would be nice. But
2-0 down, 3-2 up. That's the way to win the cup.
Yeah. How would you? What would you prefer, Gary? Would you prefer a nice, easy evening where you're just watching loads of goals flying, or do you want drama? And a win.
Oh, in an ideal world, I'll take a cakewalk every day of the week.
Oh, would you?
Yeah. And now, obviously, once you've been through the stress of a hard game, and you come out the other side, you think, "Fucking hell, that was good. That was." But
you'd never have had that Fornals moment. I know that didn't affect.
No, I know.
But
Nick, honestly, I just want to win it. I take a walk in the park every day of the week.
Yeah.
No, I'm the opposite. I'm the opposite to Gary. I would absolutely love it if we were like 2-0 down at half time.
Oh no!
Absolutely dejected, thinking, "Oh my God, this is going horribly wrong," and we haven't played really well. And then we come out second half and just absolutely get after them.
Yeah,
and just play amazing football second half. Pull it back to 2-2, and then like in injury time, someone pops up with an absolute worldie to win it for us. I mean. That would be just the most unbelievable thing ever.
If you could design how the game's going to go, you would choose that every day of the week. But I ain't going to choose to be 2-0 down at half time.
I know. So, Luke, what would you choose?
just to the side note, my play would be Flynn Downs to score the winner. Is because for three things.
Yeah.
He's a West Ham supporter, so all of us 60,000.
And he must be your cousin or something. Is he a cousin?
No, he probably looks like a cousin after a few beers, but no, he's been given a shit sandwich this season by David Moyes, and he's a lot better than people think he is. That's just on the side. No, so it'd be like the second coming of Noble to score a goal anyway. My way to win it is completely left field, and people are going to think I'm a nutter for saying this. Because I am a nutter, and you're right, totally. But I wouldn't mind penalties.
You're crazy, Luke. You're crazy.
I wouldn't mind penalties because, right, Stu, because
I wouldn't mind penalties.
I don't want penalties. I don't want penalties.
Listen, it's my choice.
Yeah, like the World Cup.
Right? Yeah,
fuck penalties.
Listen, right? People think that Steven Gerrard won the FA Cup with a last-minute equaliser for Liverpool.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. He won it because we lost on penalties because we had one player that was injured as well and two players that wanted to hit the crossbar. Anyway, for us to go to Europe and to win, how many teams in England, English teams, have won a penalty shootout in European competition? I don't think there's been that many.
Liverpool,
which is why I don't want one.
Yeah, but I want one as we lost one in 2006, and I want to see West Ham win a penalty shootout. Plus, we couldn't even beat Blackburn.
Not in a Europa, not in the European final. I don't think I can take that.
Listen, I would have said a last-minute winner.
I've taken the Carabao Cup.
We got that. We got that with Forlan in the last round, so that's done now. That's gone. He's got his goal, and we got our win that way. So that's that send off. But this for me would be probably. I can't really decide it. You're 2-0 down, 3-2. You will want heart attacks, yeah? You will want to go on a stretcher and go, sorry, I'm in the hospital. I just had a heart attack in the pub. Right, that's what's going to happen. Now, you all think you can handle being 2-0 down at half time. You can't. I'm telling you now, you can't.
I know.
You're going to be. But
you know what, though, Luke?
Nick
you know,
is going to be in a rage at half time.
You know, for you and all them people in the comment section say, no, I want a nice, easy game, comfortable win, 3-0, you know, drinking my tea. This is fucking West Ham.
It is a good one.
I'm telling you, we'll watch the final, lads, because this is West Ham. We will not fucking do it the easy way.
No, it's right. Right, that's Alex. Thank you for your call. We need to move on to the next caller, but one
we'll move on to the next caller. Thank you, Alex.
One last bid here, Alex. Cresswell to redeem his red card from last year.
That'd be sweet.
I like that. I like that one.
Yeah.
That would be sweet.
Great question, Alex. Great question.
Or all of our strikers get injured, right? They're not available for the cup. Andy Carroll, no, he's injured as well. Andy Carroll gets released from Reading. He's on a free transfer. We can bring him in. We add him to our European squad. He leaps like a salmon. He scores a winner. And the fans, it's echoing around the arena. He sniffed all our gear. He sniffed all our gear. Andy Carroll, he sniffed all our gear. Did you see the video?
Yeah.
The selfie video.
He loved it as well. He was recording himself.
Brilliant.
You know what? If it was going to be Cresswell, you can imagine us getting a free kick.
Yeah.
Just on that right-hand side of the penalty area, about 20 yards out, and he just does one of his little dinks into that near corner.
Yeah.
It'd be like the Everton one.
Yeah.
Alex,
that was a wonderful call. Thank you very much, mate. That was good.
Thanks, Alex.
Good.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate.
I'll speak to you in a bit.
Take care.
See you later.
Bit Ariella one.
I like that question. That was good.
It was good. Right, brace yourselves.
Oh, here's Nolly.
It's Nolly. He might be in bed now because it's getting late. So there might be a couple of callers that we try that are no longer available.
All of them.
I can't believe he stood us up.
Nolly.
I'm amazed you got me on, to be fair.
Hey, I've got him out of bed. No, I ain't.
How are you, mate?
Not bad. Nolly, turn us down on the telly. I can hear the ringing.
All right, mate. 2 seconds.
Why is it still ringing though?
There's a delay.
Oh.
There you go.
Right, Nolly.
Better?
We've been really good. Right, Nolly, we've been really good tonight. No C-bombs.
Yeah, I know.
Right, no C-bombs. Right.
Listen, I was so pleased with it today. I didn't drink as much.
Oh, didn't you?
So, all good.
It was good, wasn't it? It was good today.
I actually paid £12 on Now TV just to see the match. So I'm
well spent.
quite pleased with that.
Money well spent.
Well spent, mate. I mean, secretly, I kind of want to send Forrest not now.
Can't
But
happen now.
I'd like to see Forest and Everton go down because of Onana and that fucking
Lingard.
traitorous. Yeah. But there you go. Can't have that. So,
No goals,
there
no
you go.
assists. Have you seen that?
Is it really
Lingard
no goals
has-
and no assists?
Lingard has got 0 goals and 0 assists.
Yeah, but you know Lingard.
He wasn't
Lingard
even
won't
on the
even.
subs bench today.
Was he
No, he
not?
weren't on the subs bench last night. He weren't on subs bench. I looked.
No, he
All
ain't
Lingard has
getting
done-
relegated.
all
He's only got a
Lingard has
1
done
year.
all season at Forest is pick up 1 yellow card. That's it.
He's got a 1 year contract.
That's his
So at the end of
stats.
this
1 yellow
season,
card.
at the end of this season, that fucker, we offered him a contract, 3 years, I think, 100 and I don't know, 120, 130 grand a week. That's what we offered him. He went there for 1 year because they offered him 5 grand a week more or something. Right? He's been rubbish
That's not
all
true,
year.
Gary. He went, Gary. That's not true. He
Go on.
went there because they had a vision, mate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They
No,
showed
Is
him
anyone
love, didn't they? They
surprised
showed
though? I
him
mean,
love.
does anyone really think that he had any motivation other than money in going to play for Forest?
Of course not.
He didn't give a shit. what
No
happened to Forest.
chance, mate.
Do you know something?
He played his best football. His best football, mate, was at West Ham.
100%. 6 months in his whole career. 6 months. His best 6 months was spent at West Ham.
Yeah, because and his only motivation in those 6 months was to try and force his way into the England squad.
Yeah,
which he did.
I think we dodged the bullet. I think we definitely dodged the bullet. Not
Well,
getting
where do you reckon his market rate is now? What do you reckon wages wise?
10 grand a- 10 grand a week
for at the end of the week. He's fucked himself, hasn't he? He's fucked himself big time. Good.
Yes.
Well, don't be so hasty, lads. I think if we win the Conference League, and that ain't no walk in the park,
no,
right? Moyes will be in for him in the summer.
He ain't going to be in, Ollie. He's not going to be here in the summer. Don't you worry about that.
Fucking.
Moyes might be in for him, but it
that,
won't
Nick.
be
I will
Well,
keep saying it. He won't be. We're going to get. It's going to be. Look, listen. It's going to be the perfect storm. Whatever. It will finish on a high, and then there's going to be good, nice handshake. He walks off into the sunset. He's got his record. He's got his cup. We've got a cup. We're all happy. We've got. I must admit, we've got some blinding players now. We've got a good foundation for another. We've seen today what happens when you send that team out there to have fun. That we've got some good players in that team, haven't we?
Mate, two things. Sullivan, right? It's man love, right? He ain't gonna let fucking Moyes go. Yeah. But the second thing is this.
You're gonna trigger me off in a minute. Hang on.
Mate, I love you to pieces. You know that.
It's just the Moyes thing.
I hate him. I told you.
You're gonna
I'm
flip me
joining
switch.
Borderful to get shot, the fucker. But I thought 4-0 today. Right, Paqueta was out of this world. But did you see some of the stuff 4-0 did? Them little flicks he did as well.
Unbelievable. He was tremendous.
Honestly, mate, and that's when we was defending.
I know.
But he was superb, mate. And a lot of the lads today, they were teeing up deck to try and get like that you know, give him a good set. When the game finished, I was looking at Declan Rice, right? He weren't waving us goodbye.
No.
So
he ain't,
you know,
mate. That is not. Listen, the man is going to be torn to pieces because he is an ambitious boy. He really is, and he deserves to be at the top.
Yeah,
but like I say, I'm not being funny. If he does think about it logically, like I was saying earlier on, and I know I might have got it wrong. Yeah, fair enough. Arsenal were in Europa this year. They didn't do anything, did they? But the fact is, right? They blew it this year with Chelsea falling away, Liverpool falling away, Man United still shit. Newcastle are going to be better next year. Arsenal are never going to get a better opportunity of winning that title than what they just got. They're not. It's never going to happen.
8 points.
And they're never going to win the Euro. They're never going to win the European Champions League. That's never going to happen, is it?
No.
I think the one I liked was the Real Madrid link. I did hear Real Madrid really closely, and Bayern Munich as well.
I wouldn't be as heartbroken. I wouldn't be as heartbroken if he left the country. I'll package him up and send him out the country. That's fine.
Are we talking about Moyes?
No, not him and all. We can take him with him in his hand luggage.
I was about to say, I'll get the crate ready.
Yeah.
Real Moyes trip.
That fella that come on, that mint that come on, right?
Yeah.
That was talking about Areola, right? What is he? What is wrong with that geezer? Right?
Don't be rude.
Areola. No, I'm not. Areola, right, is our cup keeper.
Yes.
Right? Now, Moyes has not played Areola in the league.
Yeah.
Right? Unless he's had to. Right? He's played Fabianski. Right? So if Moyes is halfway fucking normal, he'll do what he set out to do right at the start. He'll play Areola in the final, which is what he should do because he deserves it.
Yeah,
he does. And the thing is, like I was saying earlier on, Nolly, it ain't like we're talking about an amazing goalkeeper who's our number one and an inferior goalkeeper. That's not the case with here, is it? You know, Areola's not an inferior goalkeeper.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, we'll have other teams coming in for Areola if we don't give him a kiss and a cuddle and say you need to stay. Because I thought he'd be our starter this season, to be honest with you. But that's Moyes for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone did, to be fair.
And the
everyone
other thing
did.
is Scamacca. We need to keep Scamacca, mate. Honestly, we do. I know they've all said, oh, he's this, he's that, the other. Fucking hell. If I was living in Italy, right, and let's say I was Italian, right?
Yeah.
And then I come over to England, right, to get knee surgery, and my other second team was fucking West Ham, I'll be there like a shot watching it.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? You can't knock him for that. And that's his team. You know, it's like, that's his team. He loves them, but he don't play for them. But he's over there. Let him fucking watch them.
Yeah. I didn't know this. I didn't know this. I didn't spot it. But John said Scamacca was on the pitch doing a lap of honour today.
He was, yeah.
There you go.
Right.
Lap of honour, as in goodbye lap of honour.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Oh, that's a shame.
I don't think it will. I don't think it will be because, like I said, I think it's going to go exactly our. Look, I think it's a logical thing that will happen. I think there's more chance of Moyes staying if he don't win this bloody cup.
How?
Personally, no, because I think he'll walk. I think Moyes will walk. I think he'll walk away. Listen, it's downhill from here for David Moyes. It is. He ain't going to get no better than what he's done. He's not.
True.
No. Oh, what?
No, I think.
So you think if we don't win it,
I think Sullivan. No, I just think Sullivan would probably just keep him anyway. But I personally think that some of this with Moyes as well. I do think. I reckon. Yeah, I think it is the right time for him to move now. He knows he's reached his ceiling. He knows he can't. He knows he can't. You know, so if he can leave with this record, you know, getting West Ham with 3 lots of European qualifications and win a cup, you bail out then. Personally,
the thing is, though, Nick. The thing is, Nick. Right, if we win and it ain't no gimme, right, against Fiorentina.
No, it's not.
It's no gimme.
It's not. No, you're right.
If we win, right, we're in the Europa League next year.
I know.
Don't tell me Moyes is going to walk away from that, mate.
Yeah,
there is that. There is that.
Yeah.
Did anyone see him at the end with all the players going around? By the way.
Yeah. We got to see
the
David Moyes and all that.
No, but it wasn't even that. He was jumping around like a 10-year-old kid.
How was he?
I'm not slagging him off or anything like that, but I'm stating the facts. He was, all the families were going around and clapping and saying thank you, but almost being a bit sheepish, like, the fans are here. And he was jumping around like a 10-year-old kid on sweets. He was like that.
Mate,
trying to milk it.
He wants it to all be about him.
Yeah.
Another possibility is actually that I've been thinking about is that Sullivan could decide that he wants to allow Moyes to continue in the job beyond this season. And then Moyes is going to be saying to him, well, look, I've got 1 year left on my contract. If I'm staying on, I want a contract extension. I want 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And I think Sullivan's not going to go for it.
Yeah.
No.
And so it could be that Moyes decides to walk because Sullivan refuses to extend his contract. He probably gets busy about it. It's understandable because he'll be saying, I've given you 6th and 7th place finishes. We've got 3 straight years of European football. I've given you a trophy and you won't extend my contract beyond next season. He could walk because Sullivan is willing to let him see out his contract but won't extend it.
But the big one here, and we know this, right? Whether or not Sullivan does want him to stay on or not, or whatever else, we do know this as well. Sullivan is going to be removing transfers from David Moyes. He is. We know that much.
It is, and Newman's probably going to go as well. He's probably going to be the full guy, even though, you know, when you look at some of the signings he's made now, actually been pretty good. Right, so Nolly, we need to bring your call to an end. Thanks for calling in, mate.
Well, before you go on,
don't say
just
it.
one thing, right?
Don't say it.
No, I won't. Nick. I won't
Don't say it. Go on. Go on.
But I think we've made some really good fucking signings.
We have.
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
And I also think that a lot of the fault is Moyes ain't played them at the start.
No.
He just kept them back. He should have fucking played them from the word go.
Oh, mate, Nolly, all this nonsense about transition, right? Now, listen, if you'd have just...
It's a load of bollocks.
Well, they're not going to learn the pace of the league sitting on the bench, are they?
Fucking thank you.
You've got to put them in the team.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you on that completely. We would have been no worse off this year if he'd have just put the team that he envisaged when he signed those players. If he'd have just put those players on the fucking pitch and stuck with it until they gelled, until they got used to it, we would have been no worse off.
Did he envisage it, Nick? Did he envisage it?
I'm not sure.
I think that was someone else's dream for us. I don't think it's Moyes.
No.
Also, all this fucking talk about all these players. On the one hand, he talks about, it takes time for these players to gel with their teammates and to get used to the Premier League. But they're not going to fucking do it on the bench.
Exactly.
How are you going to gel on the bench? You're going to have to play them and stick with them. And if you play them every week, then the sooner they get gelled in and get used to the league.
Yeah.
It's bollocks.
Yes, absolutely. It is nonsense. But anyway, Nolly, we will let you go, mate, because we've got a load of calls to cheer. Top callers ever, mate. Top callers.
Cheers, Nolly.
You just saved yourself 25 quid in this call, mate. Well done.
No, mate. I'll always whack some in there. Go on, you want.
See you later.
I'm only joking. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.
Shut up, mate.
Shut up, mate. Honestly, Nolly, bless him. Whenever he's been on here, and because when you say the C bomb, that's the one thing that you can be sure will demonetize a video. The last two times he's been on, he's bunged us 25 quid in our pot. He's a top man, Nolly.
I was gonna say we liked it.
No, but he's literally what was it he said the last time? He said, I'm not going to say it. He said, but I think. He said, but can I think it? I said, yeah, you can think it. He went, well, I think he's a. He actually said
it. So Nick, we're 2 hours 5 in.
Okay, all right, calm down.
I'm just saying that we can't go on forever tonight, right?
No, all right. Well, we'll do another one. 1 minute. I'll tell you what the calls we get. 1 minute. We'll do one more tonight, and then what we'll do is we'll do another show earlier in the week where we take all of these ones. I'm going to text you all the ones that I ain't called.
Good idea.
Hello, Nick.
Hello, Gary. How are you?
Gary's on last rather than first.
I know. Sorry, mate. Look. Listen.
I don't like this new system. I like getting on first.
I know. But
what a great couple of weeks we're having, lads.
I know.
How good to see Forlan playing like that today. Rolled back the time, didn't it? He looked when comparing to the Brentford game, he looks a different player. I mean, just the vintage Forlan, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was outstanding. Well, his tail's up now. He looks happy again.
Exactly.
He?
Confidence. All it is. Yeah, confidence thing.
Was really good.
I was thinking about the Declan Rice thing just very quickly.
Yeah.
If he does stay, and I don't think it's a foregone conclusion he's going to go. When I saw him celebrating the other night, singing bubbles, and I was thinking, just imagine. I said weeks ago the players needed time to bed in the new players. It's happening. Paqueta now, we're seeing, what a good player he is. We all knew he could be. If you imagine we could get another quality midfield player alongside Deck and Paqueta next season. Imagine the three of them in the three. Maybe another striker.
Thing is, Gary, we've already got him. We've seen today. I know we played him out wide left, but we've got one of the best attacking midfields around. If you play Rice, Paqueta, and Forlan, that three in the middle, that is outstanding. It's progressive, and all you need in front of those three is pace. If you've got pace and runners, they will find them. Paqueta can find them. Rice can find them.
Yeah.
So
what you're saying is Forlan, Rice, Paqueta.
Yes.
And then you play your striker up front, Bowen on one side. So on the left hand, so you're talking about the left hand side, adding some pace to it. We need
a magician on the left hand side. I think we're missing that. I think if we can add a world class left sided attacking player, then that would kind of and I like Emerson as well. Actually, Emerson played really well today, but I don't think he's a world's best left back. I think if we can sort the left side out in the summer, that would be we'd be a force. I do believe that.
it'd be interesting now with the final because of I was thinking earlier. I was talking on the radio about this final coming up. We've got these 2 games. You can rest players, but you can overdo it and rest them total when they start not being match sharp.
Yeah.
We see Man City today. Pep's like changed the team virtually, and I think Moyes got it right today. What he done. Now the Leicester game is another kettle of fish because they could be down by tomorrow night.
Yeah.
So, and in which case then do we rest the whole team for Leicester? It's a tricky one, isn't it?
I don't think he will though.
I don't think you do that.
He want to keep the momentum going, and I agree with it.
Yeah.
The thing is, you can play them and just like we did there today. I don't think they necessarily ran themselves into the grand stage. You know why? Because we kept the ball. We enjoyed ourselves. We was passing. It's not as hard, and that's what I've always said. That run of games that we had in April, where we was playing the way that we was playing. That's incredibly difficult when you're out of possession for fucking 70% of the game, chasing shadows. It is, Luke, isn't it? You play football. If all you're doing, you're out of possession, you're in a rondo, aren't you?
Yeah. It's more knackering than running.
Yeah, I mean, I think Leicester. I think by the time we play Leicester, they'll probably be relegated.
We've got 10 days off after the Leicester game,
and then,
right?
Like you say, Gary, there's 10 days between that Leicester game and the final. I would play the cup final team in that game.
Play a full team. They need match sharpness, right? They can lose their match sharpness, can't they?
Yeah, and like you say, they can look after themselves as well in the game. They don't have to be flying about putting tackles in or putting themselves in any danger. That they can just use it as a good kind of warm-up game for the final, keep themselves out of trouble physically, make sure they don't get any injuries. I think it'd be a good run-out for them. And if Leicester are already relegated, then they've got nothing to play for either. It'll just be a nice, easy game for them,
Yeah.
So
Keith,
go on, Gary. Keith, thank you for the super chat. Random fact: his first game was at Upton Park, 1975, against Fiorentina. Now that was the what was it called? The old Anglo-Italian Cup final.
Yeah,
that we lost 1-0. I completely forgot this game happened. By the way. However, what you can look at it this way: in 1976, we beat Eintracht Frankfurt in the semi-final. Last year, we lost to Frankfurt in the semi-final. So perhaps it's going to go that way. Perhaps we owe them one.
Yeah, I mean, with Fiorentina, I've been listening about how they play, and apparently they're possession-based side, but they're quite slow build-up. So I'm wondering, end of the day, listen, forget the style of play about entertaining football. This is a one-off game. I just want to win it. And if that means like defending for periods of the game, defending well, and then breaking on them, and we win that cup, I don't give a damn. Just want to win this game now. Well, we've got to the final. We've got to win. Because if we win it, we're in the Europa League next season. That's the thing.
Same here.
He might think, if he lifts that trophy next month, you see how emotional he was the other day. Something could switch in him, If he lifts that trophy, and then, the right noises are coming out with takeovers and players coming in, you don't know. Because at the end of the day, the only club he can go to guarantee trophies is Manchester City. Nobody else.
Yeah.
Liverpool are in decline. Tottenham are not an issue. Arsenal, don't guarantee Arsenal will get anything in the next 2 or 3 years. They've got much chance of winning anything as we have in terms of domestic competition.
Well, Gary, I think the 2 clubs in this country, if you want to go somewhere and be guaranteed a chance of success now, is probably Man City and Newcastle.
Yeah. But even Newcastle is still that next jump if they can get the players.
I think they're going to make strides.
Arsenal are back in. Arsenal are back in the Champions League, right? Arsenal are back in the Champions League. But look at all those years they had in the Champions League when they had a great team with Thierry Henry and everybody else. They were in the fucking Champions League every year, weren't they? And they never won it.
You're right. All they done was got out the group stage. It was a money spinning thing to pay for the stadium. They got as far as the last 16 quarterfinals and they bombed out. You're absolutely right there. But the thing is, you've got Man City are going to dominate for the next few seasons, particularly in the domestic league. So any cup competitions, FA Cup, League Cup, Premier League, it's almost a close shop. So really, unless Deck's going to go to Man City, like Nick said earlier, you might be better off staying at West Ham. He's going to get guaranteed football. He's in the England squad. He's a first choice. And he could actually build something here, I think we're playing alongside Paqueta now,
the Man City
these things.
Ain't the Man City captain leaving what's his name? Gundogan is leaving, isn't he?
Yeah, he's going. I
Yeah,
personally,
but the role tech plays is
Hang on,
what
Gary, 1 minute. Go on, Luke. What was you going to say?
no, just personally, I'd rather take the money and just let him go and let him go do his thing. The reason why I say that is because I thought he was going to go last year. We lost to Frankfurt. I thought he was gone then, and he stayed now.
Yeah.
But all we've had for the last season is nothing but media attention saying, will he go? Won't he go?
Yeah,
Who's he
true.
going to go to? Who do you want him to go to? And we've had it over the years for so many players. Arnautovic was meant to be the one when he was going. He said, I'm going to stay here. Payet was the one. Who's he going to go to? And after, for me personally,
He'll move on to Paqueta next day. While Rice is here, he's keeping everyone else quiet.
That's fine. It's gone on now for a few seasons now, and it's starting to become. I'll be honest with you, this is what I start to not like. As much as Rice is respectful about West Ham in the media's eyes, and to a lot of fans that talk to me outside this and non-West Ham fans. That is becoming bigger than the club. Also, somebody's overrated, not worth 100 million. That's for the blocks anyway. But we invested fantastically, in my opinion, this summer in bringing players who should have pushed us on, but they've been held back by the manager. That's another story as well. But if we can get 100 million for Rice and spend it wisely and bring in players that maybe they won't be as good as him, you can't replace Rice. It's a totally different entity. But if you can get players in that they can merge, they can bring in, they can upgrade it to a certain level. I'd rather say, look, that's a story. Go enjoy yourself, Dick. Go play even if you don't play it very long. Go and play your Champions League football. Go and win your Premier League or your FA Cup or your League Cup. Good luck to you. You've been a great servant for the club. Go do well with England. Go do well with wherever you go and go. We get the money. Because again, if he stays for another year and doesn't extend that contract, we're going to get less money from him anyway.
Look, the thing is, if, for example, say we win the cup, right? We're in Europa League season, and then Moyes stays.
Right.
The problem we're going to have, the biggest problem, regardless, now, if we sell Rice or we don't, if we sell Rice, we've got money to spend. The biggest problem, Nick said earlier, Moyes is not going to be in charge of transfers next season. And you know what's going to happen? If Moyes stays and Sullivan's buying players, Moyes won't play them.
Yeah.
This is the only thing. This is the biggest problem we're going to have. So, and really, Newman's been getting some stick, but didn't Newman find Paqueta?
Look, no, Newman. We've all agreed that Newman was tasked with finding new players to find a new style. He's done that. That's been proved the last few games.
I think he's done well. I think he's done a good job.
Yeah,
I think the players have been good.
Absolutely, but
the player's not the problem. The person putting him in the team is the problem. But we all know
apparently one of the biggest problems that Sullivan's had, and this is massive with Sullivan and Newman and Moyes, is the Areola thing, which has cost us about 45 million, and he's because they wanted the West Brom keeper on a free.
Yeah,
they said, well, if you're not going to play him and Fabianski's going to be the number one, we'll go and get him for nothing. And they went, no, we want Areola, and it's cost them 45 fucking million, the total value of the deal, and he ain't really featured.
Do you think there's a part of Moyes that was thought himself, do you know what, I'm going to put all my eggs in the Conference League basket no matter what this season, and he kind of knew that he had an easier ride compared to the Europa League, because they're part of it. That we all know fundamentally that if it had been kicked out, if it had been knocked out of the Conference League at every stage, he would have lost his job, because this is the competition that's kept him in a job. The Conference League is the only reason why he's still our manager this season, because it's the one stick that they could use to poker fans with going, well, we're still in Europe. He's not out of Europe yet.
One more thing.
Nick, one more thing. I was going to say, one more thing. A couple of weeks ago,
this is
this team for the final would have picked itself, but now there's 2 or 3 positions now that I'm not quite sure about. One is obviously Forlan's coming in.
Forlan's for Benny for me. Forlan's comes in for Benny.
Yeah, well, then you're leaving Benrahma out. The other option is in defence. It's Safal or Kira. But the other thing is, the other night, I know Gary did a little show on it, and I mentioned it beforehand about Aguirre. You know, he has made mistakes. Again, he's another one. I think next season we'll see the best of him. It's just getting used to the Premier League. For the final, we can't afford mistakes. It could one mistake cost us the game. You know, this Abona Zuma or Zuma Aguirre thing, because he don't really want to play Aguirre on the right. He's a left-sided player, and so is Abona. So do you go with Zuma and Aguirre, or do you go with Abona and Zuma?
Aguirre is going to play. So Aguirre and Zuma is going to be
why
the
he was dropped today.
Cresswell will be left back, it will be Soufal. I think we're all in agreement with that. It will be Soufal right back. Midfield's going to be the same, and we know what the attacking line is going to be. Barring the only one that's going to be the surprise is going to be the left attacking side. We don't know.
You'd have to imagine at this point, given the last couple of games, you'd have to imagine Fornals is knocking on the door.
Personally, I would want him in.
I think he's knocking on the door. He looks in really good form. I think he's actually more effective in the final third than Benrahma, if I'm honest.
Plus, you've got Benrahma on the bench, haven't you?
I think Benrahma's potentially a better impact player than Fornals. So I think maybe we're using him the wrong way around. If you need a player to come off the bench to do something, maybe Benny's the man.
But Fornals played well today because he wasn't hamstrung.
I mean, but certainly, I'm really impressed with Fornals today. I remembered now what a good player he was.
Because he took the chains off. They took the chains off him.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just confidence now. He's got the goal the other night. His tail's up.
Yeah.
And we saw the real Fornals. I just want to win this game, lads. It's been a long time. I don't want to get. I want to win it.
Yeah. People are saying in the chat it's harsh on Benny. It is harsh on Benny. But the fact of the matter is, look, I like Benrahma, and he's been amazing, and his goals have been so important to us here. They have. But if you're talking about picking our informed team at the moment, Fornals has been. He was tremendous. He was he was as effective as Paqueta today. We've given a 10. He was. He's passing. He was involved in everything. He was amazing. And the fact of the matter is,
it ain't just about.
Does it?
It ain't just about 11 players.
I'll tell you one minute, Gary. I think what it does matter is it matters what style of play you're going to play. If you're going to play an attacking game like we played today against Leeds, Fornals will shine. But I don't think Benny's a type of player that you can almost leave him isolated, give him the ball, and there's a chance he might do something. Fornals ain't that player.
Have any of you lads seen much of Fiorentina recently?
Let me just.
Any of their games?
Yeah, look, there was a comment earlier in the chat because I went with an Inter fan today, right? And he knows Fiorentina quite well, and he was he said they're not a bad side, and what you can't overlook is Fiorentina this year, they're a cup side. They've not only got to this cup final, they're playing Inter in the final of the Coppa Italia as well. Yeah, right? So they've had two massive cup runs.
And did they beat Inter early in the season?
They did beat Inter in the season a few weeks ago. They beat them 1-0 or a few months ago or something.
And they're in the Champions League final.
Yeah, that's right. And so, and Arambat, who plays for them, is mentioned in the chat here. He's a very, very good player. He's one that we were linked with as a potential Declan Rice successor. Right, so
I'll tell you they've got as well. They've got Milenkovic, who we were linked with when we got Zuma for about 3 windows.
Yeah, he's a good player.
They've got Arthur Cabral, the striker, who we were linked with.
I remember him.
Well, the Brazilian.
I remember him.
Also, they had a defender that scored 2 goals the other night as well for the Gonzalez.
That's right.
Scored 2 goals against Mars. So you've got goal scoring defenders as well.
Can I ask you all, put your heart to one side, just purely logical football sense. Are you all confident we can win this game? Or are you?
Yeah, I am.
Listen, we've got nothing to fear.
I think we're better than Fiorentina.
We've got nothing to fear. On our day, we can beat the best teams in the Premier League apart from Man City. We can beat the best teams in the Premier League. So there's no reason why we can't beat a team who are of similar status to us in the Italian league.
Yeah, that's right. Gary, we're a bit formed just at the right time, mate. You look at the Arsenal performance at home, Man United at home. Yeah. Even the other night, I know, like Tommy was saying about he didn't enjoy the semi-final. I did it away because we done a job. It was just reversed. Normally, you go away from home, keep it tight, get the second leg at home, and you do it like we did against Sevilla.
We did.
Listen, they've got some good players. They've got some good players. You're not going to play a European final against mugs, are you? Right? They're a good team. No, they've got some good players, but fuck me, we've got some good players as well.
We have. Look, Gary, you are an expert at stretching calls. You're now at 16 minutes. You've broken our rule by
You won, Gary. You won.
You won. So we're going to let you go. We're going to bid you farewell. Thank you very much for the call as always.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
See you later.
Bye. He just carries on talking.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. If Fornals starts against Leicester and has another really good game, he is going to give Moyes a headache.
Yes, I think he will, and so he should. But like I say, I think it probably does come down to how Moyes is intending on setting out in that game. I think, I don't know. It would be harsh on Benny. It would, but look, I think Benny will feature in that game at some point.
Benny's got no product for a minute. You're lacking in products.
No,
That's the problem.
but as Fornell's proved the other day, you can be a hero coming off the bench.
Yeah.
He has been one of our most exciting attacking players this year.
He has been, yeah.
He's exciting right up until he has
until the last, right until
make
the
the final pass, or get a shot away. He's terrible at all of them.
Do you know the funny thing is Dick can be a bit like that as well. He goes a bit blank outside the area. He can do all the hard work, win the ball back and pushing the forward, and he doesn't quite know what his best option is.
If he does really crack it and start adding proper goals to his game, my God, because he's amazing. The way he carries the ball, he's got everything, isn't he?
There's a part of me that would love him to go Man City because I think Guardiola would turn him into the best midfielder in the world. I personally think he would do that. I think he's done Grealish. He's turned Grealish, from what I can see and what I've read, he's turned Grealish to a makeshift left wing back, and they reckon that Grealish has never done so much defending in his career, and he's making him like the complete winger, which is incredible. And so I said to people, Declan Rice ain't worth 100 million. Declan Rice is worth 100 million to West Ham, and that's Grealish is worth 100 million to Aston Villa. That's the difference. It's not always market fees; it's always club fees as well. You know.
Yeah, but clubs, if clubs want to buy him from us, they have to pay him what he's worth to us.
Exactly. So if he stays another year, his value will go down just purely because based on the contract length. That was what.
Plus, other clubs have kind of set the market as well. I mean, Enzo going to Chelsea for over 100 million. I mean,
he's been shit, hasn't
he? And it just gives West Ham that kind of leverage to say, well, you know, if Enzo's 100 and whatever million, Rice is 120.
And Man United come in with an 80 million bid, and we go, hang on a minute, how much do you pay for Maguire?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, you remember that, did you?
And Sancho, Sancho,
and Sancho, yeah. Another one, and the latest one, Anthony. Who I don't rate him. He's a little show pony. I'm not a fan of him at all.
Can I ask you guys a question? Well, I just a quick one. I rate Ten Hag really highly, personally. As a manager.
I think he'll do well at Man U.
And he's won a trophy. That's the fact. No one can deny that. Same as with Moyes wins. If Moyes wins this for us, he's won a trophy. That's a fact. No matter how much I want him out, I can't deny that fact, right? But a lot of people are saying that Ten Hag isn't that good a manager. His players haven't worked out. His fault. I think it's a weird one because he's won a trophy. And to me, he's improved Man United the way they played. But over the last few months, I think you've seen a lot of cracks with their team. And obviously, it's a destination that Rice could end up going there.
Apparently, the rumor is that I've heard, and this is I watched. There's a Man United podcast that I do watch occasionally. And what the guy said is that they've run out of steam because Ten Hag plays a high intensity game.
Yeah,
and he wants every player pressing all over the field and stuff like that. And apparently, they've suffered a little bit of burnout.
Right. But done a Bielsa and some.
Suffered a little bit of burnout. So
he's kind of like Moyes in the sense that he does tend to flog the same players every week, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He does.
It works, but when you start losing games, you've got to change things around, don't you?
He does. Right, everyone. It is a Sunday night. We have run longer than what we always do, than what we expected. But it was a great show tonight. Luke and Tommy, thank you very much.
Oh, boys, thanks for having me on. I get the opportunity to come on nowadays with my family issues and stuff like that. So thanks for having me on, and I hope I haven't waffled on too much.
It's not an issue. Having a baby ain't an issue. It's just
you know what I mean. You're not getting that. Family.
Tommy's got the cat. Tommy's got the cat, haven't you?
Sorry,
the cat. I'm disappointed. Your cat, your pain in the arse cat, has never made an appearance on our show.
Yeah, do you want to know why? Look, where's it?
You get scared of Nick.
He's there somewhere. Where is he? Kenny, there you go.
There he is, Kenny. Yeah, that was, mate. That show that you did where Kenny was abusing you was hilarious. It was so funny.
Oh, he's a little shitbag.
I can't just like
random attacks from nowhere. And
but when I've done it with Tommy, he's been like a third anchor for the third character in the background. It's brilliant.
But before we knock off, and I'm not trying to delay it again. I know.
Go on. I'm going to start calling you Gary. Go on.
I'd be interested to see what you think, because I really believe Declan Rice absolutely loves West Ham, and I think when he leaves, whether it's this summer or not, it's going to be absolutely heart-wrenching for him to leave. I really believe that.
He's in a hard place at the moment, a difficult
place.
I
think he's really struggling with it. I'll be honest. I think mentally he's struggling with the idea that he's going to leave West Ham. And I'm just wondering what you guys think. if we win this thing, we win this final, and we're in the Europa next season, do you think he'll actually decide, you know, fuck it, I'm going to give it one more season?
I believe he's going to stay. I've been saying it all along. Gary and John think otherwise. The likelihood is that he's gone. That's what a lot of people are saying. But for me, with the club that we are, you know, the ball, we know they're on the verge of selling. We're linked with the Qataris. We're linked with Ratcliffe, which is equally impressive if we get him in, because he's multi-billions. You're talking many billions. This guy.
What was his money in? Out of interest.
Chemicals, chemical company, but he's worth in total about 21 to 25 million, 25 billion.
I read top five. Top 5 billion.
He's rich. He's rich, and he wants basically. Look, he just wants a plaything now.
That could be worrying. That could be a bit dangerous.
He wants to have some fun. He's a football man. He's a football man, though. He's a football man. He is. So.
Listen, I can only say what I think, and what I think is that he's already made up his mind, because we've offered him so much money.
Anyone's mind can be changed.
No. Maybe, look, and I really hope he does change his mind and stay. Nothing can give me more pleasure.
Yeah, but you know how it is, Gary. Sometimes when push comes to shove, and it comes to that time where you really actually are thinking, fucking hell, am I actually really leaving? And then you you have doubts and you have second thoughts at that point when it becomes real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true, Tommy.
But Tommy, you're Declan Rice, right? You're Declan Rice. You're an ever-present in the England team already. You're playing for you're a captain of a Premier League club. There's 60,000. Fair enough. We're not one of the top 4 or anything like that. But unless you're Man City, you're not guaranteed to win the league every year.
No.
And the fact is, right? You are the pin-up boy. You are worshipped by 60,000 fans that are literally singing one more year, Declan Rice. Did you see his reaction today in the centre circle, right? He literally looked around and he was like, oh, for fuck's sake, leave me alone. He was struggling. He was struggling.
He did that.
He was struggling. I know. He was struggling.
I'm thinking about it. That suggests to me, it says, I'll think about it.
Yeah.
I think he's struggling a little bit. I think he is struggling a little bit with it now, because it's getting really real now, because the time is coming.
Well, I'll ask you one thing. Well, Tommy, will he ever be worshipped anywhere like he's worshipped at West Ham?
No chance.
So, Luke, will he ever be worshipped like he's worshipped at West Ham?
He could be.
Oh, come on. What going to Man City?
He could be.
No, they've got heart. They've got an abundance of superstars.
I know, and he could be one of those superstars.
Rodri ain't worshipped like that, and Rodri's a world-class player.
I'm saying that Kevin De Bruyne is worshipped like that. Haaland is worshipped like that. Gundogan is starting to worship like that because he's scoring important goals. What I'm saying, we've seen the start of Declan Rice's career. He's now 23, 24 years old, right? If he goes on, I'm not being funny, lads, right? We're West Ham, right? We've seen a player prosper in our team, a team that isn't built for the superstars. He's been a superstar in our team. When he goes up to the next level, which is what he wants. He wants that, no matter what you want to say, right? He wants Champions League football. Where people say, "Oh, you want to win the Champions League?" No, they don't just want to win. They want to play the Champions League. They want to experience what it's like to play in the Champions League. They want to play against Barcelona, Real Madrid, the Inter Milan. They want to experience that in their career. Some of them don't think they're going to be playing that top level for 10 years. He's probably thinking, if I make 5 years in the top level, he's trying to snatch it.
That's going to wear thin. No?
If he goes to Man City and starts doing the assists and starts becoming a more attacking player under Guardiola, Grealish. Everyone thought Grealish would get lost in the Man City team.
I don't think Man City are not in for him, no, mate. Man City are not after him. They're not.
No, but I'm not saying that.
They've got Rodri, haven't they?
I'm saying if he goes to look, Casemiro went to Man United, right, and he was loved at Real Madrid, and he started being loved by the Man United fans because he was actually a midfielder that could score goals, right. I'm not saying I'm right. If I'm proved wrong, I'm proved wrong. I hold my hands up totally. But in my opinion, I think there's being worshipped at West Ham, but it's also a career. You've got to think about this bloke. This bloke is thinking about his actual career. It's nice being charted by the fans.
Mate, he's linked with Arsenal. Can I ask you, is Arsenal that much of a step up?
It's
not. I tell you what, Luke, I agree with you on the Man City thing. I think if Man City come in with a bid, I don't think he will go to City. But I wouldn't fucking leave West Ham for Arsenal right now.
Look. Today was a really great day. Right, today everyone was in a good mood. Leeds was shit. I didn't think they'd be as shit as they were. Right,
we made them look shit though.
There's been many other games this season where we've played awful. He's been shouting and hollering at the other teammates. He's been like that with the fans, and it's been shit. Right, in the last few weeks, it's been great. it's been fantastic. We won the game the other night against AZ, and everything's pretty and bouncing, right? But there's been many times where it's been crap this season. I've slagged off Declan Rice a number of times on videos and stuff like that in the past, right? It's all rosy now. All I'm saying is once that final's done and the dust has settled, and then people start talking about money and people talk about transfers, it only takes a week. Everything changes in a week. Yeah. Suddenly he goes, do you know what?
But also, like I just said, it all changes in a week. He could stay at West Ham as well.
I agree, but in my opinion, I think he's off. I think he's off.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what. Another thing is, like, there's no guarantee anyone's going to stump up that kind of money for him. There might be teams that like him a lot and think he's a really good player and would like to have him.
Yeah. Do you know the information that I got? This was 2 days ago, and this was before the story came out in the Telegraph about their Arsenal preparing a 92 million bid, and that was Martin Noble's been back and forth to London Colney, trying to negotiate with players as part of a part exchange deal. Apparently, all of the players that we would want as part of that deal, none of them want to come. So it would have to be a cash deal.
It's got to be. I don't want any part player deal either. I want a cash deal personally.
No, but apparently we did. We wanted players as part of the deal, but apparently some of the players.
I don't mind. I don't mind. You know, for instance, if we did it with Chelsea, for instance, I'd take Gallagher as a part X. I'd take Brozier probably if he was fit as a part X. Yeah, it depends on the team and if they've got players to offer us that we need and want.
Personally, I want 100 million minimum. That's what I want personally.
I do. It's got to be. Right, but anyway, look, we must wrap up because Gary's going to turn into a pumpkin, and I've got an early start tomorrow.
That's brilliant. Thank you all for watching, and Luke and Tommy, thank you for
really good show. Really
brilliant
good
show. Yeah,
loved it. Appreciate it. I'll do more of these in the future when I can.
Yeah,
top man,
brilliant.
Top man.
And thank you for all your comments. Thank you for all your lovely comments. We shall see you soon. Be back in a week at some point.
We will.
Come on, you irons.